Good evening, everybody. Welcome to an off night of Roll With It for the Outlanders. However, this is not our typical session since we are missing a Kovac, but we are going to go ahead and go back to a let's talk about it type session and do a little bit of recap since it's been nearly 2 years since we've done one of those. I mean, half of that time was spent in the town of Hillsfar anyhow, so
The other half
we're
was
planning
shopping.
Yep, shopping and Hillsfar. That's it. So that is the recap.
All right.
Great episode night, everybody.
Didn't we get some weird half dragon person too that joined our group that wants to burn shit down?
Oh yeah, that too.
Yeah, no, we've had
Hey, we're recapping the important stuff.
we've had
Okay.
and skee ball.
guys, we've had Rith the whole time. What are you talking about?
And if anybody's like, if you're watching too, also like new layout, I'm kind of looking at it. It's over here, so if I'm looking at it, it's just because I'm there.
That's what happens when you can't sleep some nights, and then you think, "Man, I need to fix some stuff."
And then you fall down a rabbit hole. Next thing
Or
you know,
stairs.
Been there.
I made 6 different scenes that night.
our production team is working overtime. They don't get paid for it.
Time
but-
and a half.
Yeah, it looks like I need to cross class again.
Yep. Definitely.
I can just delete your stuff off right now.
Look, I had no idea he was going this route with my character. My character was gonna go this route anyways, so yeah.
George with a J.
Well,
That's right, George.
I mean, I was basically gonna go all bard, but now here we are.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
I mean, I was gonna go barbarian, and then my character with Kovac and everything started doing some mentorship there. So I figured, I'll just go in a few levels of fighter, and then the rest back into barbarian. And paladin suddenly showed up somewhere there.
Yeah, his name's Hulin.
I think.
but Holin's not cross-classed.
Yeah, I think Bob and I were actually talking about paladin as an option for Rith before then.
I think it was as you were going through the ski rod stuff.
Yeah,
that
at
was
the
starting
beginning of
to
the
ramp
ski
up.
rod. Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about that. I had some like different ideas for that, and then it just ended up taking a different direction because I felt like the two options that I was going to present to you were going to like force you to pick Tiamat or Bahamut for Rith, and I was like, well, that's not very. I shouldn't do that to a character because it's not like Rith is either keen towards either one necessarily. So
Yeah, I
kind of
mean, he's
one.
always valued the balance of it.
and not really being beholden to either one. So I scrapped a lot of my ideas when it came to that, and that's like part of my notebook here that I have, just things that are written down and I've never used because I write the idea down and things start to happen. I'm like, oh, that's not going to work anymore. So I'll just hang on to. If I feel like I need something different, I can just reference old ideas. And then I think I've got like three or four different versions of events and how they could have happened in here. And I'm not sure which ones we actually went with at points.
We don't either.
Yeah, we're not sure either.
It could have
Whichever
been
one
none
didn't
of
make
them.
sense at the time, that's probably the one we did.
Yeah, it could have been none of them because sometimes I have ideas and you guys are just like, you know what? We're going to follow this butterfly. I'd be like, I didn't write the butterfly in, guys. I don't know where that's. Okay, that's where we're going. Cool.
Sometimes
Butterflies are pretty.
chair.
Yeah. Yeah, it is about the chair. I can't remember what our chair was. There was a chair thing.
I don't remember. I sent a private message to you about it though.
Yes.
I was like,
Yeah.
"Is this our chair?"
There was something. I can't remember what it was, but it totally turned into the chair. but yes, so we're just gonna do a let's talk about it episode again. And so the last time we did one, like I said, 2 years ago, shortly at the end of after we wrapped up Bosbeer,
Wow.
and went back to Arabelle. And came back home, and I think the first thing that ended up happening was Rowan and Kovac went to go see the Raven Queen to talk about the whole Carly thing, since he had some dreams or visions about certain things, or that she was someone that you had encountered in the Tilverton.
Yep.
You found her, I think, a flute that she had on her or something, and she had an item, and decided to go. No, it was a toy.
It was a
bird
toy. It was a toy.
A toy, like a carving of a bird. That was indigenous to Rowan's home area, or forest near there. So I know Rowan went and talked to the Raven Queen, and then did the whole Mindscape ritual to help Carly, and got a bit of information about his own sister, which I think is what led you guys to want to go north, because some of the clues that were given led you guys to Shadowdale.
Yes.
So I don't know. I mean, what was?
We
I guess
also-
what was Rowan's?
Also, Hand Drawer was in there.
Hand drawer.
He's
Yep.
the one that told me that the girl was connected to me or
That was
whatever.
the that was,
Also.
I think, the first episode was the "I'll be watching you" one, because he showed up.
See, the titles
and
tell
he
you
was-
everything you need to know.
I know, they do. Because yeah, he's the one who told you that they were connected, and implored you to go find out. And I think that was one of the things where maybe I can't remember if Kovac said much about him, but I think he might have just indicated that.
He was from his past or something like that, I think, is
Yeah,
about all we really know.
wasn't a guy he really necessarily liked, but wasn't going to do anything about it at the time frame.
It's his
So-
Eli.
I love how the party's just like split almost down the middle there. You got people that are just like, I think he's okay, and then people that are like, I hate him, and then some in the exact
And
middle
then
going,
Damien, who's never met him.
True.
I haven't even seen him.
You know, from knowing Damien's reactions to most things, he's probably on our side of the line, you know? He probably hates him.
I don't know enough about him to hate him, but you know.
but he will probably try to burn the Pegasus down.
Sure. I mean, there's really only two options: burn everything down, or let Riff hit it until it stops moving.
Those do
Feels
seem to be
right, feels
effective.
right.
Seem to be effective.
In the Mindscape thing, though, like, I was torn on whether Kovac was going with me or if I was going alone. But then it just felt right to go alone.
Yeah, I was prepared for it to go either way. I think I had the encounter kind of set up for two different ways, whether or not it was two people or whether or not it was one person. Because, you know, if it's two people, gotta give you more stuff to either fight or make it harder.
Should have brought moral support. Just saying.
Rith?
Yeah, I mean, could have been we could have had a little R&R time.
He's always cheering me on in the pit.
That's true. Which, yeah, after the Mindscape one, because like I said, you did get some useful information out of that. Kind of led it into the next mission afterwards. But after that episode, we did have Kelnoran's first appearance in the pit.
Yep.
With the one punch knockout.
She almost did again.
That's true. That's true. He almost did have the one punch knockout both times.
Rith,
it's
have you
three.
killed anyone in the pit yet?
No.
I mean, it just happens by accident. You know, he accidentally smites someone now.
No.
Crit smite.
I
Good.
win my fights by accident in the pit.
Wet willies.
Wet willies. Yep. I can't remember if that happened.
Is that
in
a con save or a will save? I don't know.
For the wet willy?
Yeah.
I think in that instance it was probably more of a constitution one. They were shocked. And somehow it worked. I don't know.
Was that when like I roll like when we rolled or something? I rolled like a 2 or something, and I'm like, oh, you can't do worse than that. And then you rolled like
I
a
rolled a
1.
No one wanted to win that fight. It just reminds me of like the people slat fighting in front of each other. The two cats that are going just real slow.
No, that happens in the background of Mike's the kaiju
right
battle.
That's true. There is no kaiju battle going on right now, though. Unfortunately.
I left my senior cat safe space open for him tonight.
But let's see. After that, there was a bunch of stuff in there. I know that after that episode, Rowan's mentor showed up. Tabaxi, I think, right? Isn't it? That's what he was. Jared.
Yep, Jared the Brave.
Yeah.
So I made him a cat.
Yep. And you found out that he and Iglar know each other. Because, you know, bards all know each other.
Wait a minute.
Oh.
What?
I don't know anyone.
Well, that's your fault.
Oh.
You could know people. You should know people.
Now you start hating Iglar. I didn't know he was a bard.
Oh,
Can't have too many bards in the party. Only one. Which is why we hate Eli.
Maybe it's the original reason for hating Eli.
He's just a better bard at the beginning.
I mean, he is the one that convinced Rith to come back and not keep going after the white and everything, I think.
Man, I remember that one. Kurt J. Smith all over for that fight.
Yep. After you guys killed the Minotaur and the white just kept running, and Rith was like, I'm gonna go smash him. And charges into a room with like 8 undead all just standing there, and he's like, oh, hey guys. How's it going?
And that's what started him down the paladin path, killing undead.
Well, that was
It
also
started me down the fighter path, I think.
Yeah.
More so.
And that
I
was the
realized
same.
that brute strength couldn't overcome everything.
Yeah. And there was also the one when, like, I think that was the same one where, you know, the skeleton, the epic skeleton battle.
I can't hit you. You can't hit me. I can't hit you. You can't hit me.
For like 3 rounds.
3
Just
rounds.
Swing, miss, swing, miss, swing, miss.
Yeah, because
So-
that was second level of the.
That was
Not at
first
all.
level.
That was the first
oh,
level.
that was first level. Yeah.
That was the first time you guys went in there when Lilith swore her allegiance to the Neogi.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we thought she was, you know, being possessed, and
Not for the first time.
yeah,
Still is.
Which I think has been a
Wait a minute.
like a,
Lilith getting mind controlled is a common thing?
we
It
think
used
so.
to be Rith. It used to be Rith.
well, and Rith is the one who has been the
Yes.
most. So,
Yeah, and Lilith is not really mind controlled by the
Nope.
Neogi. She was just
she was being respectful.
being respectful on what his title was and called him master.
Yeah.
As the party walked in.
And Kelnor was like, wait.
That's awkward.
It didn't help. From time to time, I would be like, "Man, Lilith's acting really weird today."
And that's actually true, because her opinion of the party has changed. You know, it's progressed.
And Rowan did kind of stoke the fire of whether or not Lilith was mind controlled a little bit sometimes here and there.
Yep. So. And so Rowan and Kelnorin gave Lilith a double lesser restoration to try to cure her.
But it's really just her way of thinking that needs cured. So really, we just need mind control.
Well, you got it. I mean, you can do suggestion. You know?
I can. That's why I'm bringing it up.
But yeah. So after that, you guys talked to Jarrett, learned he knew Iglar. I believe some other. I know other stuff ended up happening in there. I can't remember what the Master Chef episode was about, to be honest with you. But I do know that it was either that one or shortly after that where Iglar came down and talked to you guys and just basically indicated that he was going to revamp the inn based off of some of the suggestions that the party had made, and was offering you guys a tower that he had purchased that was the tower that was occupied by a guy who had summarily died in there, that gave you guys a job to go to Tilverton originally. But Iglar showed up, gave you guys the option of completing a job, pursuing the Daemon Fae, because he had indicated that he was formerly Adventure and his group had pursued them about 20 years ago. And then the Daemon Fae went to ground and they weren't able to complete their job, but had heard rumors or reports of them resurfacing near Cormanther and sent you guys north. And that began our time leaving Arabelle somewhere around like episode 57 and not returning for like 20 episodes. So almost a solid year.
Yeah, a lot happened during that period of time for sure.
It might be closer to 30 episodes if you count the half episodes.
That's true. There were a couple of those.
2 best episodes.
Yeah, they were good.
You can't. You just admitted before we got on here that you haven't watched anything.
That's true. That's true.
I can still disagree. They're not the best episodes.
But if you haven't seen them, you can't judge them.
He lived them, isn't that?
No.
He wasn't there because they were literally.
Yeah, no, you lose.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get to them, I guess, but they were literally just Rowan and Kelnorin, and they each had their own individual episodes because they had stuff they needed to do that wasn't going to involve the party. So
there's almost a chance that Rith was going to have one of those too. It just didn't turn out that way.
Yeah, I can't remember what ended up happening, but I think something else changed in that regard.
Yeah.
But
I was gonna say I sat outside the door, but it wasn't that episode that he planned on doing that.
That was
funny. That was pretty funny. So yeah, you guys ended up heading north under the direction of Iglar. He gave you an individual to go speak to up in Shadowdale, a Mr. Stone, someone that he had connection with in the past, and gave you a item that Mr. Stone would want in order to exchange it for information. And while you were up there, you had decided that after you got the information, you would potentially ask for information about events relating to Carly, and seeing if you could locate the individual that was transporting her north. So, any thoughts there? I guess on the whole getting to Shadowdale, because you guys got attacked on the road too by some of Skirod's followers.
Yeah, that's where we got the tokens or what, or the symbols, the amulets. Yeah,
Rith had quite a reaction to that.
I know. I thought he was gonna hurt me.
Because I think it was one of the symbols on, because the amulets had several individual tokens on them.
Yeah, I mean, one of the symbols was the one that killed his parents, so he kind of reacted to that.
So I think that was where it had moved Skirod up on your on Rith's to-do list.
To-do list, yeah.
Previously, I think you'd met with him in town. I think before.
Yeah, I mean, he met with Skirod in town and kind of just blew him off and was like, you walk your path, I'm gonna walk my path. So Rith didn't really put it much thought into him. It's like, oh, you're a little crazy, but just leave me alone. I don't care. Do your thing.
Right. And then he comes after you guys, and you find out that he apparently underneath his banner was the group or the bandit group that had killed Rith's parents.
I don't know if we found that out.
Yep, I don't think we did.
You guys never did. No.
Yeah.
Nope.
Maybe that's why he was so mad at me when I was like, we should really keep a couple of these just in case we need to sneak into the place. And that's when I thought Rith was going to hurt me.
Yeah, no, he wasn't mad at you. He was more mad at the what Skirod had done more so. It came it came out because of just the events that had been taking place, I think. So, because Rith didn't know how to deal with that emotion necessarily all that well.
He just needed a hug.
Yeah.
Well,
because good.
Rith's personality is such that it's in the past, and he needs to move forward with it. So it was an old wound that just kind of refestered a bit, and the fact that it was somebody that was his mentor had been a part of and had mentored up as well, I think that hit Rith harder than the fact that he found out that his parents were killed by them.
Now it all makes sense.
Yeah, that was the first time you figured out that he was, or that Mono had known him necessarily, or that he was a big part of it. But I think also, I remember you and I talked about it too. It was like that was a defining characteristic, but it was also the fact that Skirod had just tried to kill the party too.
Yeah, that was another thing. Like, because Rith views the party as his family, and I think that's one of the things. Like, as we later talk on it, but I think bringing it up, like Rowan's leaving without saying something to him, I think it hurt him in a deeper level. Because he understands Kur's leaving, wanting to follow your own path. But Rowan leaving doesn't feel like it's the same to him. He's not leaving to follow his own path. He's leaving because he's following somebody else's path. So for Rith, it's like two different things.
Well, I guess one's the difference of a druid that's lived I don't know how long, and a 17-year-old kid that says, that looks cool.
Ooh, shiny.
I don't know if he really said that looks cool.
The opposite. Like the exact opposite was about what he said. Really, we're gonna talk to animals.
I know. You're gonna stay in this grove with animals? What?
Okay.
Okay. I did like that. We found more about Rowan and his sister, and began that arc a bit.
Yeah, because when you guys made it to Shadowdale, I can't remember. They don't have a post office there. They had something else. I can't remember what it was called, but it was actually a canon name for it that was similar to the post office. It was like the message post or something like that. I was just like, well, that's gonna be great because
Yeah.
like I think I probably have it in here somewhere. Let's see. Let me view it.
Well, because we exchanged information twice with Mr. Stone. Once on for the Damon Fae, and then also for Rowan.
Right.
Yep.
Doing Rowan's first.
Yeah.
Yep.
If we wouldn't have had to come back to him, I was about to piss him off really bad. Because instead of us being like, yeah, we'll do something for you, I was just going to be like, I've got this dagger that you can have. And then we would leave. And then a minute later, I would have the dagger again.
Oh, I thought you were just going to plunge it into him.
No. I was just going to be like, look at this relic.
That would have done it. That probably would have not made him too happy.
But we were going to have to come back to him, so I chose not to do that.
That's probably good.
I know after we had returned to him with was it books or a book that he wanted? Like the group had made note that we need to take them away from him at some point. Have made no.
Nothing's ever happened in that regard again.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Rith doesn't care.
The message post. That was the name of the place.
About it really hard.
Well, I mean,
she thought about purchasing it, then and asked him how much he wanted for it. And then thought about, well, I'll just wait and steal it back when he's not.
I'm pretty sure since we got him the book, like we've been go again.
Yes, nonstop.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because we started out go. Then we had to wait for Rith's hammer. And then we went go again after that.
Yeah, because after... so yeah, you guys talked to Stone and immediately went north from staying in Shadowdale's area to go pursue the lead on Rowan's sister.
Yeah.
This is where some sharing didn't happen again.
I can't remember exactly what that was. I think it was the journal.
Yeah.
The journal. Yeah, because Kovac had that for like a solid 3 or 4 or 5 days, something like that.
Mm-hmm. With information on where to look and stuff like that, kind of.
At least, yeah, like historical stuff that was would have been important to Rowan. But yeah, you guys ended up fighting there.
We had the best battle plan too.
And it went just according to plan entirely. You guys knocked on the door. We're gonna pretend to be people showing up. Rowan Salt undead.
That was so
stabbed.
great.
Yeah.
Rowan attacked undead.
Stabbed him.
Failed wisdom save.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that battle, like for a little bit of time when the necromancer was kind of like misty stepping and dimension dooring around, several members of the party got hit with a lot of necrotic damage. I think Lilith dropped twice.
Multiple times.
That was the episode that
went down.
Yeah, that was the episode that Kovac was like, "Oh, there's a battle going on. Fuck it, I'm gonna go over here and look at these books."
Yep, went into like
Well-
different rooms. And
Yeah.
Well,
because Lilith went in the one door and there was like 4 or 5 people there
Yeah.
in that room,
Well, I think
and
that's
just got slammed.
well, I think that was a different episode.
Yeah.
'cause,
That was
the one that
Oh yeah,
this
No, that
fight,
was-
this fight, you guys were fighting like the necromancer lady, and me and Kovac were destroying the things that like powered her up.
Mhm.
Oh yeah,
In the
that's
other
a
room.
later episode, isn't it?
Yeah.
That was
yeah.
the next one, I think.
That was the next fight or whatever that we
Mhm.
did. Yeah,
It wasn't looking at books; he was searching rooms.
yeah,
So that is the very next, like when you guys went into the Cormanther Forest itself. Because yes, the like 3 of you were fighting the necromancer while Rowan and Kovac were essentially destroying the crystals.
yeah.
Um,
I remember that.
because yeah, when one of the pieces was that yes, each one of those was powered, so if they would have been kept intact, she would have revitalized to full health and full casting capacity once for every single one. So that fight could have been a lot worse
It could have
if-
been.
if you guys hadn't have found that, because she would have had essentially like over like nearly 400 hit points and the ability to cast like a 5th level spell 4 or 5 different times, and Lilith wouldn't have liked that at all.
Oh, that's
And I think
Sounds
Kilnorn was
great.
hurting too.
Yep. Yep. We kept getting smashed and then get back up. Bam. Up.
Because that was the one you summoned the rhinoceros too, wasn't it? And just sent it into the room, and it triggered the glyph of warding or whatever it was, or the arms
that
of
was it.
Dar.
that's one way to find traps.
It worked.
It was
It
effective.
worked. Which stopped anybody else from triggering. I was like, okay, well now, and I think Kovac and Rowan just like misty stepped through it, and they were just
Mhm.
like, we can get in there. Don't have
Yep.
to worry about it.
Well, we went after her, and I think we might have hit her like once or twice, and then she left. And then I
And
was
then
like,
you noticed the
"Ye-
pulsing gems, and
yeah, I was like, hey, maybe we should destroy these. And I destroy one, and it blows up in my face.
Yep.
Kovac destroys one, nothing happens. And I'm like, all right,
Mhm.
I got the third one, don't worry. And it blows up in my face.
That was great. I remember that.
those were some good old times. And then yeah, you guys found the book that you were looking for Stone. Kovac had a journal that he held on to for a little while.
Until I was playing Kovac.
And so you were playing Kovac.
Oh yeah, this is in your inventory. It needs to go to me.
That's the best.
So after that point, you guys traveled again back to Shadowdale, got the actual mission that you were there for to try to search for the Daemon Fae, and were led. We're told that they had 2 different hidey holes, or bolt holes, as the dwarves called them, and pursued them. First, stopping by to talk to a ranger who was local to the area, who guided you guys to the first one. You guys went into a cave, did some cave fighting, as the title suggests.
I was trying to remember why the title on the one before that, but I remember. It's
A
because,
New Hope.
yeah, the episode ended with me going, hello there.
Yep.
General Kenobi.
And I was like, I need some kind of like Star Wars title, and so I named it A New Hope.
So yeah, you guys ended up fighting the first battle against some Daemon Fae minions, so to speak. Not necessarily powerful ones. I don't think that fight was really all that. I think Rith got hit a few different times. You got hit by a whole person during that one, I think.
I did. Yep.
Because you jumped across and I can't remember. You hit something really hard. And
Yeah, I think I dropped somebody.
yeah. And the sorcerer that was there went, nope.
Nope.
And said, hold person. Which which I think was all you were on your path in order to gain resilience at some point there. Which,
Yeah, I mean, I'd already been on. Yeah, I'd already been working on it. I'd had, I think, several of the party members were casting spells on me to build
3
up
of 'em.
that resistance. Yeah, yeah, so that I could justify it in character as having
Mhm.
gained that feat, right? So, because I mean, that's all what I'm all about is like justifying why I have something all of a sudden.
Yep. So yeah, you guys did the cave fighting. Didn't end up finding anything there of note necessarily. I think you guys found a few
We found like
letters.
one letter or something,
Yeah.
that was really important, or kind,
that was helpful.
Yeah.
Once you guys got to the next one and got more information there, kind of connected some of the pieces. Or at least you found out that this was like a training ground, so to speak, for people. Followed that by going a little bit further into Cormanther and finding a fellow Furbolg druid, Thaya, who had a
brown cow.
Yeah. who had a
Tell us how you really feel.
Did they
who had
make
a
a circle
who had a
together?
fox companion.
Yeah, Fox.
Yep. I think she was. I mean, she was a pretty, as far as all things go, a helpful person that came from the border forest up north. So she was on her own little journey and was waiting for people was waiting for something that needed her help. Whether or not it was the group or whether or not it was something else coming later on, she didn't really know. But she led you guys or directed you anyhow to where a foul presence in the forest had been lingering. And you guys ended up finding a small hidey hole that was built into an alcove or a little grove area.
Yeah, we infiltrated their hole.
You did. I'm pretty sure that one actually, Kelnoran, you found the. I think Kelnoran found or sensed the corruption in the area.
Yeah, you had described it as having not been there so long, it felt off.
Yeah. So
this is one of them where we took a pretty good beating. I think
Yeah,
this is the one where Rith actually went down.
yes.
I think.
Yep.
I think you went down twice.
Twice, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because you guys ended up infiltrating. There were some.
Yeah, because this is the one where Rith grabbed Lilith, I think, and dragged her back and looked at Kovich and said, "You've got this," and just left because he hadn't been in the fight the entire time.
Yeah. Yep.
All yours.
Lilith, once again, up, down, up, down,
Yeah.
up, down.
Yeah.
Because you guys
Me
ended up
too.
fighting. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
Or maybe it was
a
Rowan
rough
I
fight.
grabbed and brought back. I think maybe it was Rowan I dragged back.
Because Lilith was a little further back.
Yeah.
I was up there with Rith at the
Yeah.
the other corner.
Yeah, I was a little farther back around the corner from where the fight ended.
Yeah, with Kerr.
Yeah. me and Kerr were laying there.
So, because that one was you guys infiltrated in. There were some hidden or invisible closets that you guys didn't spot right away. So that's why when you guys ended up going further in, that things were prepared for you. And yeah, as soon as the battle started, Kovach was kind of searching some areas because you guys were looking for either documents or whatever it was that you were looking for to locate stuff. And you guys crossed a hallway and instantly like everything broke loose.
Yeah. That was the one where I walked into the room.
Yeah.
And there was like arrow.
Yeah, shit hit fan in that one.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
There was a cloud kill that went down the hallway. because there was a demonic mercenary that had been summoned in, or was part of the group that was there. There was a
some really big thing, like a big spider or some kind of.
like I think it was a stringe.
All I know is it took up like most of the hallway or something.
Yeah, it was like basically like a giant mosquito. Because it had the ability to like lower max hit points on a hit. I think it was called a stringe, I think is what they are. Or no, an Oz. Oh gosh,
I think
can't
you're right
remember.
on Stringe, if I remember.
It's not a stringe because those are smaller.
Oh.
But I remember what they are. They're demons, but
Not very nice.
Yeah, because they had like 4 hands and a.
That was a different one. That was
Oh, no, that was a different one.
It was like a Yugolith type of fiend.
Yeah.
There's like a whole collection of them. But yeah, it did have 4 arms on it. It held 2 tridents, and it was able to cast Cloud Kill because they're immune to poison, which didn't work as well as it could have because Rith has such a high con save and is resistant to poison, and Rowan is resistant to poison and gets advantage on poison saving throws. It didn't help Lilith or Kelnoran at all, but but no, yeah, that was a fight that ended up turning out very rough for you guys. But that's the one I think where you guys ended up getting the map and a couple of other letters or orders, anyhow.
Yeah, stuff that.
That's where we found out about Hillsfar, I think.
It was one of the places that was an option, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, one of the 3 towns that I was able to tell everybody about with the red plumes.
Yep.
Yeah, told us some of the information. Once again, we weren't very good at sharing.
This is true. It is a common theme amongst the party.
It's hilarious to me because you guys kind of hinted at that before I came in. So like one of the spells I automatically took for myself was read minds.
Detect thoughts.
Detect thoughts.
Yeah.
I'm like, nope, I guess I gotta do this because everybody's telling secrets.
It was a Chasme, by the way. That was the name of the demon.
It's not so much like lying or anything. It's just, leaving things out. Yeah.
Which actually it worked out almost the way I thought it would when I tried to read someone's thoughts. Was putting the knife to my throat in the last few episodes. So.
But yeah, I think that's the one. Yeah, that is the one where you guys got the documentation, or you guys at least saw the map. I know Kelnoran looked at it. That had a bunch of towns that had been either X'd off, or towns that had been circled. And I know Kelnoran was able to decipher that at least like 2 of the spots that were similar symbols were the 2 camps that you guys had visited.
Yep.
I think one of the documents had indicated that Thaya was a problem or something, and or that might have been later. I don't know. There was a lot of.
That in Hillsfar.
I think it was in Hillsfar, yeah. So that's where you guys had to decide which town were you going to go visit first, because all of the Moonsea was kind of, well, not exactly friendly to demi-humans, which comprises the entire group.
Yep.
Yep.
Again,
And-
I have disguised self. I'll be fine.
And we got close to Hillsfire, and then we decided, oh, we shouldn't go here because somebody didn't share information, and so we were like, oh no, we should go here instead.
Yes, because you guys went to Evening Star because you believe
Elven
based
Tree.
off of Elven Tree. Yes, Elven Tree.
Evening Star's
Not Evening
really
Star.
far away.
Way far away.
Pull up the map.
You went to Elven Tree afterwards because one of the journal entries that you had was indicating that, you know, to help the trainees and whatnot, or to bolster spirits, that they would attack Elven Tree potentially. Like that was one of their potential attack points once everything had fallen into place where they were. And I think this is actually where some of the information was shared, because one of the letters said that Senator Domas was under control, that no one knew about the name.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there were things in there that would have helped isolate to Hillsfire, but luckily you guys ended up picking it after going to Elven Tree and making some new connections for Rowan, finding another bard.
Felia.
I thought it was like a...
Nephis is the lady in is one of them
like
in
Fellis
Hillsfire
or something. Fellis.
So, if you find a certain amount of bards, at what point do you make a boy band?
This is a woman.
This one was a woman,
Oh, well.
and she was a burlesque styled dancer.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you gotta have groupies. You can't be a true band without groupies.
Could be more of the front person, I think. More so than Rowan would want to be,
She was also
because
a
that is why
tiefling.
you guys ended up performing together too.
Yeah.
I think that was one of your best roles for performance too, like a 19 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Kerr was not there.
Right.
Yes, that is true. Every single time it's been like in the mid to high 20s. Kerr has not been there.
Yeah.
Which brought us to the ever so pivotal moment in the whole Hillsfire arc, basically, of Rowan deciding that he was going to go venture off alone after leaving notes for everybody to indicate what his...
And rolling a nat 20 on my stealth check to get past everyone.
True. That is true.
It's the only way I got past Kelnorin.
Rolled a natural 20 to unhook his horse and keep his horse. And I think you rolled pretty well on the animal handling too.
Yeah, and I
Keep
used
the horse quiet.
Mage Hand just to be safe.
Yep. So yeah, we got back into the whole not sharing information with those.
It didn't help now knowing that each note was given a vastly different tone. Like everybody.
Well, because Rith tried to get Kelnorin to just sit down first,
So he could talk
and then
to him.
so he could talk to him, and he went,
Yeah.
and he just said, "No, he's off." And Rith was like, "Well, fuck it, I don't care. Gotta catch up in a bit."
Like, my note happens to contain the phrase, "If anything happens to go wrong, I want you to keep following the trail on to Phoebe." It's a definite "I might die on what I'm doing" phrase, like right there. And no one was sharing any type of level of concern that why was Kerr freaking out? He must have reason. And everyone hinted that they had gotten a note. So they all, as far as Kerr knew, they all had that same feel. And he was like, fuck it, they don't care, I'm out.
Yeah, I mean, because looking at it, like Rith's note was, hey, I'm just going to Hillsfire. I'm gonna try to, get some information ahead of time. Just if something goes wrong, take care of the big guy. Thank you, friend. R&R till the end. So it's like, okay, well, he just took upon himself to go do something, and we'll catch up to him here in a minute.
Right.
Because
And
he
then Lilith
because he
notes
looks
something-
the most human
Yeah.
out of everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
Yeah,
Lilith's note
and-
was something like, go talk to Hulan when you get there. I'm gonna find a place for us all to stay.
so it wasn't a big deal.
Which is hilarious because you're the one that was accompanying him while he was freaking out.
Yeah,
and you didn't say anything about it.
Kovac
didn't
is
realize that the notes were different too, and that's why she was worried about Kelnoran, and that's why she went after him, because she was afraid he would hurt himself.
Kovac's was similar to Lilith's, except I think it said take care of the party on the trip there.
Yeah, it was like you said I started to head to the city of Hillsfar. It'll be easiest for me to get in undetected. Sorry I left with no warning. Look out for everybody on their travels. I will try to have things set up for you guys by the time you arrive. Thank you for always having my back. Rowan. It was like very sensible. And yeah, I mean the one to Kelnoran did start off and end kind of on a panic note.
I mean, I loved it. I thought it was great.
Oh yeah.
It was just one of those things. Is like, well, apparently we're not sharing again.
The funny thing about this is, like, the day after we had the episode before, I was like, Patrick, I'm really thinking about having Rowan, like, go ahead of everyone and leave while they're sleeping. And then, like, the next day I was like, man, I'm really, really thinking about this. Like, I feel like he would do it. So we did it.
And I was like, all right, just give me a roll. We'll see if you get by him. And he rolled like a natural 20. I was like, that'll do it, because Keldor is asleep.
Also, he may have had some sleep aids that night.
Yeah,
he did.
It's true.
Yeah, that was when he was on the still on the drugs.
He was on the mushrooms.
Yep.
Which led to some very interesting interactions, because Rowan went to the city first, managed to get in just fine. Aside from, I think, did you have the guys? Did you have the guy stop you, or was that Kelnoran, where the guy was trying to be all?
Oh, he did it to me.
That's right, he did.
We actually both got it.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, you got Hiltred though, I think.
No, I got stopped by someone first. It's just Rowan's situation was more like severe. The guy was a little bit on call.
Well, because you got stopped by somebody because you were different. Rowan purposefully got stopped by a guy who took him into interrogation because, there was word that this party was potentially coming into Hillsfar, and Rowan kind of fit the bill a little bit, and he tried to do the whole bad cop routine by himself. I can't remember exactly how Rowan got by it. I know that you did something though, or you just, or maybe it was Hulan came in.
Yeah, Hulan ended up coming in. Yeah.
Yeah, while he was interrogating you, and you're like, I have really no idea what the hell this guy's problem is. But yeah, I think you had some pretty good talk with Hulan to kind of set up and.
If only I had known about Senator Domas.
Yep. We didn't find out about that until even much later.
That's true. That's true. You guys were in the town for, I think, at least 2 days?
We were in the town doing research.
Yeah.
Before we found out that it was in that book.
Yeah. Because Hulan gave you guys basically 3 days.
Yeah.
Based off of Rowan's actions, and said that, when the party shows up, fine. But I think, because that was where you guys learned that they were on the lookout for 4 people.
Yeah, because I realized they didn't know about Kovac.
Yep. Because later on, you guys, no one knew at the time frame, but the person who, one of the fiends that you guys ended up killing and sending back to its native plane got summoned back, and the only person it didn't see during the fight was Kovac, because he was off doing other things.
Letting us die.
I did have
we
to.
can't forget that Kelnoran tried to kill Lilith too by setting her on top of a Clydesdale and sending it galloping back to the elven tree.
That is true.
He told it to keep you safe. It was
He
never
did.
going to.
I think it's twice her height.
3, 4 times.
Yeah.
I would point out that wouldn't have happened if Lilith had said something to somebody.
She thought everybody had the same letter too.
Yeah.
I mean, why would Rowan just write to her?
I didn't want everybody's letter to be exactly the same. All right. That's boring.
Oh yeah, so that led to Rowan having his individual session in the town, where he arrived, got in perfectly flawlessly. Everything was great. Rolls were good until he had to find a place to stay because he was told to go to now I don't remember the name of the inn you guys were sent to. Sprecher and Boland's place.
I feel like cup is in the title. Or tanker.
The broken mug.
Broken mug. Yeah,
The
broken
Broken
mug.
Mug.
Yeah.
Yeah. You were told to go to the Broken Mug because Hulin trusted them because he had sensed that things were not quite right in the city since all demi-humans had been exiled, which is why your other bard friend was in Elven Tree, as well as a couple of other people. So he let you go in, and as you were trying to navigate to the Broken Mug, got lost in the side streets, found some tasty pastries, and then finally managed to locate the Broken Mug.
I still remember what I had to say.
Hmm.
My dog got out last night and he ain't come back yet.
That's right. That's right. We did have clandestine phrases. Because that's when you learned about the special reserves.
Mm-hmm.
The cracked mug.
The cracked mug. Okay.
I have it wrote down.
Okay. The cracked mug, yes. And Rowan did a fair amount of searching around himself, found the House of Happiness, found a couple of other places, talked to some people, including, I don't think that's when you guys found out about Rebecca in the town.
No, it was after.
That was after, yeah. Didn't she message you privately first when you were there
Yes.
before everybody arrived?
I thought it was after everyone got there.
It was definitely during your individual mission.
It was.
Oh, okay.
Because she asked where everybody else was.
Oh.
And you never responded.
That's true.
You're like, fuck Rebecca.
Now, when we all came into town, we did hear we were on the Sending Stones.
Yes.
So
Rowan was giving updates on his shopping that he was doing. Trying to be covert.
Mm-hmm.
That's because somebody was panicking.
The whole next episode, I'm like, guys, I got a plan. Okay, now it's like 20% of a plan. And Kelnoran does something, I'm like, closer to 12 now.
It's more of a concept.
Yeah, this plan is going down with every action.
Because, yeah, Kelnoran arrived first. Gave the one name that Rowan didn't give to Gate Captain Hulin.
Mhm.
Yeah, gave name Baron, which seemed reasonable. And Rowan didn't give it because the name he hated. But you guys did all get there, and I think, I mean, you did do some research as well. Ended up talking to Rebecca, which is how I think you guys ended up finding out about Domas originally.
Yep.
And Chatty? Other.
Yes. Well, the other succubus, yeah. Who was a courtesan at the House of Happiness, but only saw Domas for the most part. Chati, yeah. Kelnoran ended up having his own solo session to do some research, which turned out rather productive.
Oh, it's covert and sneaky, like a rogue is supposed to be,
and a dog.
Not. And
Well, and you befriended like the local strays and stuff like that too.
Made a city life spy network.
Yep. Ended up finding out some good information about where the twins' mansion was. And you guys ended up making more and more plans to go hit like a whatever the name of that merchant hall was. I don't remember now.
There was the Blue Sales Company.
The Blue Sales Company. Yep. You guys were going to go check out the warehouse. And
Yep.
Yeah.
This is where the plans went out the window.
Yep. Everything, all the information that was gathered, everything that was going well, and who was it? Rowan, Kovac, and Lilith, right? Or
Lilith
no?
went on her own first.
Well, no, there were three of you that went.
It was Rowan, Kovac, and Lilith,
Yeah.
but Lilith
Yes.
got way ahead of them.
Yeah.
Well, she was behind them,
No.
and
no,
they
she was out
because you
front.
walked by them. Because what ended up happening is Rowan and Kovac were in the front. They rolled horribly on their perception checks and got turned around and were like, "Where are we?" Doing the John Travolta. And Lilith saw
that's
them,
right.
and then
And
just
she went just
kept going.
beeline.
Yeah, she didn't correct it or anything. Yeah, just kept walking.
Because it was supposed to be Rowan that was going to go, or Kovac was going to go in, because that's when you guys knew that Kovac was the only one who hadn't been spotted yet, and so he was going to go into the warehouse,
Right.
talk to people.
Wait. Let me just throw something out here, like before this goes further. If there's one race that this town truly hates,
Hey.
it's halflings.
That's true.
Right. Which is why what happens next can only be described as Lilith shit the bed.
Mm-hmm.
That is true, because the halflings are absolutely hated in Hillspar for various
There was
reasons.
a halfling slaughter.
Purge. Yeah. In historical context, halflings were framed for being the downfall for Hillspar society and criminals and running an organized crime network, and it basically got Jewified by the Hitler-esque Red Plumes, so which were nicknamed the Red Death by the halflings. So yes. So at that point, after Kovac and Rowan were sufficiently turned around, Lilith went off and devised her own plan in order to get some information that she needed some string to repair her bow.
This,
And,
by the way, this episode is entitled Lilith? Question mark.
Yep, it sure is. Because everything that happens after this point is just a giant question mark. No one knew what was happening. Not even me. Because I had plans. They weren't supposed to kick
You're
another day or two.
welcome.
But while Lilith was scoping out the area, one of the twins decided to kind of set a trap, and Lilith went invisible. I remember this.
Yep, that was the very first time she went invisible.
It was there wasn't really a problem, I don't think, with her plan in that context, except for the fact that they were aware that the group was in town. And...
Well, back up real quick though. I thought it was hilarious when after she did that and they came back together. She said what she did, and I don't remember if I think it was Rith was like, "What?" And then Lilith was like, because I think what we said something along the lines of,
Wait.
what was it again? Because we asked her like why, yeah, and she said, "Oh, I just came to get my stuff or my disguise kit. I'm heading right back out," and she just left again.
So,
and that's where this whole plan of hers came in, like on the fly.
Right.
This stuff was actually separate. Now that I think about it, the three of us did go scout. Then I was back in the city when she turned invisible, because I was with Kelnoran coming out.
Yeah,
that's right.
I think because I think the two went back or something like that. I don't remember exactly what happened, but
well, yeah, after she entered into the warehouse and gave herself away and all that type of stuff, we chastised her like all of us jumping her shit,
especially Kelnoran.
Yeah,
because that's when he slept outside, I think. Yep.
And we sent her back. And Kovac was like, "Well, I better go keep an eye on her."
Yeah.
Yes, and because you guys had heard from some things that Domas, or at least you'd heard that Domas was expecting like a shipment or something. I think it was Kelnoran. You had followed them up to the Blue Sails area, and it was you had been far enough away when when Domas and Chati were chatting, and that there was going to be a shipment.
And it was while Lilith and Kovac were down near the warehouse, the rest of us were at the local cafe meeting.
Yeah, that's what we were doing.
Get some details on what we needed to do
to help her break her contract, basically, in order to get help. Which was funny because the whole shipment thing honestly was almost it was basic items. Like there was nothing significant that was going to be in that. It was one of the things that was happening is that there was a whole other spot that you guys could have gone to, because there was a separate inn that you guys went to previously, and like 2 or 3 different people went in, and the innkeeper was looking for like a special bottle of wine to come in, because he was using it to a political person was hosting a party or a dinner at his inn, and Domas was tasked with making sure that shipment was delayed. So there was nothing significant about it. I mean, it was significant in the fact that it was kind of to link Domas and the Blue Sails Company together and bring everything together, but it wasn't crucial to the plans necessarily. But yeah, so after that, Lilith did go back, turned invisible, ran right into their trap, and with detect magic up, they detected her invisibility. She was addressed by the female twin, and subsequently captured after attempting to run away and having the mage that was there cast, I think, Hold Person.
Yep.
And then Kovac very uncharacteristically staged his own rescue.
Which, I mean, Lilith probably would have been killed otherwise, or at least maimed in some way, or lost a hand, or eyes, or something.
It was going to be it was going to have to be a rescue attempt, because the place where you guys ended up battling during the the coup attempt was where Lilith was going to be kept. And yeah, she was potentially going to be tortured for information. So you guys would have found her with maybe a handful of hit points at that point. So Kovac doing what he did, not necessarily bad, but it did trigger things a little even quicker. Which, this is just a whole snowball rolling down the hill at this point.
Yeah.
But it was a rather remarkable, a rather interesting sequence of events, because Kovac used his ability to create something that people would be the most afraid of. One guard completely saved. The other one failed miserably.
That's right. I remember this.
Attempted to
tug of war.
Yeah, one tried to run in one direction while the other one was standing still, and got completely caught off guard. And Lilith used this as an opportunity to slip the shackles at the cost of the skin on her thumbs and a lot of the flesh. So,
Yep.
And I was like, you could do it. You're just not going to be able to really do anything until you get healed. But Kovac was able to cast invisibility on the pair of you. And I think you guys ended up running into the rest of the party on their way out.
We were gonna do our own version of get help if we showed up.
Yep.
Yeah.
You guys did have a plan for that. But yeah, you guys ended up finding that out. You guys ended up going back because they found out that you were staying at the Cracked Mug because the person used detect thoughts on Lilith and found out that you were there. So you guys had to go back and tell Brecca and Bolin that their safe house was compromised. You guys were sent into the underground network.
The reserves, special reserves.
Yep. Down into the special reserves. And thus started the very interesting night of
I met Gregor too.
You did meet Gregor, who was a Red Plume, but also a friend of Captain Newland. So that night, the twins launched a surprise attack on several individuals. One, capturing Brecca and Bolin. Two, attempting to kill Hulin, which I rolled that fight by myself here just to see how everything went with a 14th level paladin versus like 2 assassins, a evocation mage, and like a veteran and a knight or something, and kind of wiped the floor with them. Even though he wasn't wearing armor at the time. Smite's powerful, by the way. Rogues can't evade that. So for a little while, I thought the fight was actually going to go against him because of just how many people there were. But considering every round he was almost dropping somebody with like 4th level smites, it kind of backfired. But then he found you guys in the tunnels underneath, which is why I'd asked you guys where you were setting up, because there was a chance that if you guys would have been close to his entrance to the tunnels, that you guys might have heard the combat, and could have come up. But since you guys were positioned further down at the end of the hallway towards the House of Happiness, you guys found him the next morning, where Kerr went up as a dwarf.
Yeah, thanks for that.
That was great.
It's his instinctual go-to. Like every time he's used it,
was.
he turned into a dwarf.
It was. Did you have to play the remainder of that, Kevin?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Kevin
It ended with him changing to a dwarf and going up. Session ended. Next session started. He couldn't make the session. I have to
Right.
play a dwarf in a city that doesn't like other races.
and especially now was there were hype men in the streets or street criers vilifying
Well, that
Lilith.
happened before, though. He turned into the dwarf before Hulin was attacked. Because because when he was when Kevin was in
that's
the
right.
House of Happiness, he found out that they knew about Hulin,
Mm-hmm.
but he never said anything. I remember that as well.
That is true. That did happen before Hulin got attacked.
Yeah, God, Kelnorin, you're supposed to share stuff.
Yeah.
But that whole instance was actually kind of cool. I mean, you used some interesting B-shape options there.
Well, he turned into a cat, I think, at once as well. Yeah.
And jumped up onto the shadow that the statue that was in the, because there were a bunch of people running in, and whatever the name of the lady was that ran the House of Happiness, I can't remember her name off the top of my head now.
Shavara, yeah.
Vara, that's right. She kind of kicked everybody out because she was like, "No, coming into my place, get the hell out." And I think you guys warned her too about potential danger that was coming, or at least Rowan did, I think.
Probably.
Because he had had some pretty decent dealings with her. But I know at some point you guys did talk to Rebecca. That was before the Chati thing. I don't think Rowan was there for that. I think that was just Rith, Kovac.
I specifically didn't go. I think Kelnorn went.
Yeah, she ended up showing me the way to get into the twins' place.
That's right.
Yeah, I specifically said I wasn't going.
Yeah, again, I don't know why you guys have this beef against Rebecca.
She's grooming you, man. She wants your soul.
Ask Shelby why we don't like her.
Yeah, but she was being controlled. And Rith doesn't like it when people control him, so he gets it. He did stuff he didn't want. He almost TPK'd the party.
That's true.
Yeah.
But yeah, so thus started the coup in the city. Because you guys woke up the next morning and invoked Kerr's plan.
Yeah, we went into the twins' place and.
Well, you guys went to the labyrinth first, underneath.
Yep. Yeah, that's what I was meaning. We went down and we were trying to get through the labyrinth, and that's when Lilith set off every trap that harmed every single person in the party except for her, and delayed us an extra hour, so we missed the whole barking dog plan that Kelnorin had set up.
I will say, I think Hillsfar was probably the worst time for Lilith.
Yeah. Yeah.
From like start to finish. Like it started out bad with just not being able to convince Kelnorin or not telling Kelnorin what she knew. And then from the moment she got in the city, it was just like everything just kind of kept going downhill.
Which kind of fits in the plan of that area.
Mm-hmm.
Given her history of being from the north.
The north remembers.
And them hating halflings and all that. So it kind of, she was nervous a lot.
Yeah, we could tell.
Yeah, she did not do as well as she probably wanted to, and but I mean, in the end, it did end up resulting in some good conversation later on after Rith pulled her aside and.
Yeah, well, I mean, we got to, what was it? We found, like, it was just a compound. Everything just compounded upon itself with that, right?
Yes.
So, we went to the battle. We found our two friends were down in the below, and when it mattered, she couldn't get the gate unlocked.
Yep.
As well. So Rith had to use a resource to get through to save him, which was a nat 20. It was like one of the best
Yeah, it was
things,
perfect.
to keep it from killing him or her. Yeah, her.
Yep.
And
Well, you pulled it open, I think, because she actually got pierced.
Yeah.
It was the rack that I think you pulled the rack off of Bolin. I think Kelnoran ripped the Iron Maiden open. Or it was the opposite way around. I can't remember.
It's Kelnoran. I started to open it. Ripped the rest of it off, and then ended up Misty stepping in and breaking the rack to save Bolin.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it that? Did you break open? No, I think you did stop it from closing all the way though, because I think Kelnoran had a really good athletics check there too.
Yeah, I mean he stopped it, but then gave me time to get in there and break it.
Yeah.
Open, and then what was it? Lilith couldn't open the other door.
Yeah.
And so I had to
failed on her
use
block
my Misty Step in order to get past to save him. And like that was just like I think that was just like the catalyst to it all. That Rith was like, she feels like she's doing this. She's either incompetent right now, or she's doing this on purpose.
Yep.
So once we got in there and we freed the senator and the succubus left, like Rith just walked up and picked her up and was like, "We need to talk."
Yeah. But yeah, so you guys went through the mansion, searched through, found nothing left really. Looked like it had been almost tossed in of its own right, except for a couple of individuals that were there. I think they were Cambians is what I had to be. But
I think so.
Yeah, because they told you guys that basically the twins were gone. They were kind of sick of your meddling and whatnot, and you'd forced a hand, and then they left. Just kind of plain shifted out. But when you guys went back outside, all hell had broken loose inside of the city. Dead people around, demons on the street, including
gray
a couple
plumes
of
and red plumes.
Gray plumes and red plumes. Yep, because the red plumes that were on the side of the Daemon Fae had donned gray plumes at that point, and so there was fighting in the street there. You guys had a couple of fights on your way towards Captain something. I can't remember his name. Marcus, that's right. I thought it was Marcus. And you guys found Hulin as
Thank
well.
Goodness.
Yep. That was a great time for me.
So
it was a great time for us too.
Yeah. So you guys made your way to Marcus's compound in order to pursue the twins, and managed to fight your way through with Hulin's help. Although you guys did a fair amount of work yourselves too. There were 2 different crits on Hulin's behalf against the guy who turned semi-undead there. Which Rowan could sense was happening as the more damage he took. But I don't think you ran at that one.
He was in the Hulin's aura.
Yeah, yes. I made my save because I was in.
He was in Hulin's aura. So you guys fought your way through there, killed everything, and then went downstairs where the aforementioned rescue happened, and the confrontation between Rith and Lilith, and the succubus being there, which I think you guys had accomplished what she needed to, and so she was free from her curse, which was good because otherwise she just would have killed the senator and then left, because that was basically her orders at that point. but since you guys had found and destroyed her artifact, which I think,
And I mean, that was really quick too. Like, quick thinking on Kalnoran's part. Like, he immediately, once we found it, just
Dispelled
went
it.
into the dispel. Yeah, didn't even wait.
nope, because you found the amulet off of Marcus's thing. I think you cast it at a higher level too.
Yeah, I cast it at 5th.
Yeah, which was exactly the level that it needed to be at. I was like, oh, okay, you do it, and that contract is now voided because the binding agreement isn't there anymore. So that was excellent thinking on Kelnor's behalf.
I just
then
didn't want to fight her.
That's fair. That's fair. And then came the fight with the twins, which I think was probably more frustrating at points than difficult. I mean, there were some big spells that were thrown around, but I think trying to pin down the sister was the hardest thing because she kept either misty stepping or teleporting around.
Yeah. I almost thought about moving into the doorway just in case, like, she tried to walk past me to get to him.
Which she
she
did. She did walk away from you and got her brother and ended up teleporting out.
Yeah, because we almost had him dead.
You did. He had I want to say he had something like 6 hit points left.
Yeah.
When that happened. Which the plan was, like, if they had gotten to a certain point, I was going to have them teleport out. But then you guys just started laying into him, and I was like, wow, this is going downhill real quick. I think one of my bad guys is probably going to bite the dust, and I'm just going to have to revamp some plans. And I was really concerned because Houlihan had been so effective at Marcus's outpost, but then I don't think he had a chance to. I don't think he had a chance to do too much in that fight. He ended up chasing around a lot more.
I think so.
Yeah, I think he got pinned down by somebody else that he was fighting. Yeah.
So, and then we ended up ending Hillsfar with you guys talking with Senator Domas, getting Houlihan essentially kind of promoted for all intents and purposes, and allowing some of the past edicts that had been put into place to be disbanded, such as the banishment of the demi-humans from Hillsfar. Did you guys go back to Elventree? I can't remember.
Yeah.
To get the cart.
Like two of us did.
Not all of us did.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I think
it was just Rowan and Kelnoran.
I think so.
Yep.
So, I think you talked to some of the people that were there too, including the Bard.
Mm-hmm.
So, you guys headed back to Arabelle, which is when we got to meet Damien.
Yay! I'm in the story.
Only we hadn't gone back.
I know.
I did try to pit the twins against each other.
Fun with one way or another.
On the way home with sending.
You did.
I was like, I could see it in her eye. She was gonna leave you there to die.
It was a very. I've enjoyed the sendings that you've sent them. That was constant needling of losing and how they ran and being little cowards.
You always forget the most important part. You pooping.
That's right. You gotta say that too.
Are you pooping?
Pooping? but yeah, so Damien got to be introduced, which was a nice little backstory thing for Rith.
Yeah.
Which I think at that point, hadn't Rith gotten the full common boost?
Yeah, I had at that point in time, Rebecca gave me a little bit more of a gift, right? And he felt a lot more comfortable with his common, but he still broke it up a bit when he was around this group
on purpose.
On purpose, yeah. Just to make sure he didn't have to explain it. But then once he started using it, nobody's questioned it at all. I don't believe, if memory serves me right, nobody questioned it. He just started talking normal. Oh no,
you told us you told us that she helped you once.
Yeah.
I thought Cal Norn had said something.
Cal Norn said something later on. Yeah, it took a while though, but he did later on, and Rith did say something again that she helped him again. Which is funny because nobody's questioned whether or not he's being influenced by her at all either, like we have with Lilith.
I don't know if people haven't probably questioned it internally.
Maybe.
Because they don't want to fight with Rith. I think that's the thing.
Yeah, I can take Lilith.
Just wear your plot armor ahead of time.
I'm about to put it on.
Kilnorn is concerned, but she's supposedly turning over a new leaf. And Rith is the only voice of positivity in her direction. So he's like, I'm just going to let that simmer and watch it and see how it goes before any actions are taken.
That makes sense.
I poured over my introduction for like a week, thinking how I was going to try and break it to Rith, and it's just a character that I had heard about, and I was just like, all right, he's this, and how would I respond, and everything along those lines, and I was doing really good with it, and I felt really good about it, and then I started looking at that damn chat, and I couldn't hold character.
That chat gets us a lot of
I
trouble.
know.
Which I think you got to find out when trying to make the references for our last vampire game there.
Yes.
Looking through, where did this come in?
Sometimes you just can't. When you're in the monologue or you're doing your part, you just can't look at it. You gotta look at it afterwards.
Oh, I figured that out on my first day.
Here's my problem: is that I have it open in case any of you send me a message asking something, so I can't not have the chat. So I have the chat there just in case something is said that maybe I need to pay attention to. So.
I know. I mean, I send you I send you a private message in those cases, I guess. But
most people do. But yeah, no, I have the Discord up all the time, and I'll see them, and something new flashes up, and I'm just like, oh, that's really good. That's funny. That's
I know.
I can't laugh right now.
Mm-hmm.
I just have to somehow maintain a straight face. I fail more times than not, But yeah, Damien getting to relay the message that Mono had been murdered.
Yeah. It took that one a little hard.
I think was the final straw.
Yep.
And even for the rest of the party, I don't know. I mean, it seemed like the rest of the party at that point was just kind of like, oh, okay, well, let's go.
Let's go murder him.
Let's go take care of this guy.
To be fair, on the way up there, on the way up to Hillsfar, Rith said, when we get back, I want to take care of this guy.
Yeah.
So it was kind of the plan anyway, but it just reinforced the plan.
Right.
It did. I did like Rith's retelling of each character. In
Oh,
his
I love
viewpoint.
that.
I watched
That
that.
was
I watched
great.
that again the other
I
day.
took that and I rolled with it in a lot of different directions, talking about Lilith being a blood mage, and I was interested in that. And it's
Instead of
like,
teeth.
I'm not a blood mage. I'm like, what? No, teeth and bones, and yeah, no, he was telling me all about it. I'm like, blood magic is awesome. I would love to learn something about. I'm not a blood mage. What?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, that was great.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
no, I like that a lot.
I enjoyed the rallying of the whole ski rod thing, though. That was good. Which I can't remember. I can't remember if the WTF episode is when Kelnorn indicated he was retiring. Did he say that before you guys went into the King's Forest this last time?
Yeah, we were.
Yeah, I think so.
Did he just say it to Rowan, or was it everybody?
He dropped it
No,
on
I think
everyone.
he said it to everybody because I'm like, oh, I was like trying to figure out how to react because I was like, I just got here and this guy's leaving.
The plan was we'd get home, right? We'd regroup, get what we need, go take on skee ball, and during that brief downtime, I'd bring it up. But it was like we get home, Mono's been murdered, go kill skee ball now, and I was like, I have to just do it. I have to just lay it out there at the worst time possible.
Mm-hmm.
But that's Kerr in a nutshell.
Yeah, that's kind of on
Yeah.
character. So
Well, and that's kind of why like Rith brought up the this last episode that we just had, right? Like that's why Rith brought up the whole thing of, are you sure you need to do this and just walk away instead? Is because it seems like everything one thing after another just continues to pile up, and then you just keep going and you keep going and you don't stop. So
Right. Well, you did describe him as a masochist.
well, that's true.
yeah, pretty sure that was the exact words.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you guys ended up talking to Lady Tesserel again, getting some information about old Cult of the Dragon transformation chamber. Went there, found the location you were looking for, had a brief tussle in which you got to see Ski Ball or Ski Rod
Yeah.
as a group for really the first time before he ran away like a
Well,
little
that he
bitch.
knew about. We kind of hid around the bar when during Rith's
True.
first encounter with him in the
pit.
in the pit.
But yeah, so then you guys got there. Rith with the help of Damien entered the transformation chamber.
Yeah, that was a
That was a series of really good rolls. I was really
it
happy
was.
about that.
well, and I mean,
'Cause
Rith rolled it to even go in it, right?
Yeah.
Well, because you had been talking about wanting to potentially change to something along the lines of like the Ravenite from.
Yeah, I mean, originally when
Andrea.
I created the character, like I had thought about creating him as a Ravenite, and I probably should have just began with that, but I thought, after I went with my arc, like you and I talked a bit, and I wanted to kind of go towards the Ravenite route anyways for the character, regardless of the multi-classing that he's done. Like that was the original intent. And I mean, you presented it here, obviously, as part of the storyline. But I felt like it, as much as I as a player wanted it, like Rith needed to decide how he would go about, and some of it was the fact that he knew Ski Rod had gone through this and survived and came out, to his view, stronger.
Mm-hmm.
And so Rith felt that it was justifiable for him. He felt he could do it, right? He felt he could go in there and conquer it. And boy, did he ever with those rolls.
Nah. I mean, Jesus, I nat 20 to figure out how it kind of worked. And let's be honest, not the most intelligent character ever.
Well, it was our Arcana check too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not proficient in
Nope.
anyhow.
Nope.
And Rowan wasn't doing it.
I was just feeling my way around. Like, hey, that one's glowing. I'm going to hit that. I feel like this one's the best one to hit. Yeah, no, it was luck on my end and then turning around and luck on Rith's end and just ended like, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I was really interested in that machine and how it worked and the buried dragon and all that stuff. And we're like, yeah, we're going to destroy this. I'm like, okay, I guess. But there's cool stuff here.
And then the bear mauled it.
Yeah.
Yep.
I wasn't even there at one point and nobody even noticed.
That's true.
I went outside.
And that was that battle. That was so.
Oh my gosh.
After the
Out
battle,
of character stuff.
I did a lot of out of character things that Rith would not have done, like stepped away and followed like Kovech's sitting down, type shenanigans and
I had just got told by Kilnoran the night before, you're in good hands with them. They'll keep you safe. They'll protect you. I get the crap beat out of me in one hallway. I run up with the crap beat out of me to help defeat the rest of the guys, and you both just walked away.
No. Well, and I was telling Bob about that. Like, I was like, hindsight, like Rith should have really just charged forward instead, and let
honestly
Kovech deal with what was there instead.
I thought it had to do with something about the connection from me because I was standing in the back and throwing down bombs, and then all of a sudden I'm getting attacked in the back. And then you ran back, and I was like, okay, well, that makes sense if Rith is feeling responsible for me. But then you just abandoned the whole other front line, and I was like, all right.
No. It was completely just out of character with playing against Mike's character at the time.
I think both of, like I said, I think if we had the opportunity to go back and look at that again, and characters would have responded the way they should have, that probably wouldn't have happened that way.
No,
it just ended up becoming like a bit of a jokes portion, in which Rowan just got the hell beat out of him because the overlords were doing a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I healed, and then I went and sat outside, and nobody even noticed.
Yeah.
Lilith was like, "Hey, Rowan." Didn't get an answer, and still no one noticed I wasn't there.
I remember that. But yeah. So Rith got to do his transformation thing, which like I said, I know you and I have been talking about that for a long time.
Yeah.
And I had everything set up with Skira, and I was like, well, this is going to be the option where it can happen. And there were, like I said, some of those things were the plot hooks I was throwing in there just to see if it was something that Rith wanted to do. And, it wasn't like I was trying to force you into that aspect, but every time you refused him, it was like in his mind, he was like, oh, he has been completely, he's being influenced by these people that are deterring him from his actual path that he should be taking, which is following me. Therefore, I must remove this obstacle, and I must become even more drastic in my actions. So it became, attempting to influence Rith individually, threatening the party, attempting to kill the party, and then, telling Rith to come basically find him.
Yeah. No, I mean it was good. It was that was a good part of the story. I felt it flowed naturally in at that point. Um, I did hesitate with Rith on whether or not he would do it, and I kind of let the dice decide, and it just landed in the favor of him going ahead with it. Again, basically for those reasons I stated earlier, that he felt he could go through this because he's stronger than Skeet Rod is, and he knew he could do it. And yeah, I mean that natural 20 to against the dragon and everything. Yeah,
Two of them almost.
yeah, two of
Yeah,
them.
that's one,
Yeah.
I will say
So-
one of the things that's been more interesting to me, and I know that we didn't talk about this for Lilith yet, but and also we'll have to talk about a little bit more with the Weymouth part, but like with Kelnoran, when originally you gave me his backstory, I was like, oh, Daemon Fae. I was like, I could do something with this, and then like I put it in there, and then the more and more that Kelnoran started to evolve, I was like, really doesn't. He's not going to be the vengeance guy, you know. And eventually it got to a point where, like you said here, in the last episode, I think, is that Kelnoran was like, "Oh no, you know the Daemon Fae thing. I'm ready to let that go, or I have
Yeah.
let that go."
Which is awesome.
So
I mean, it took 3 levels of Ranger of trying to be the vengeance guy to do it. But yeah, you let it go.
and that was like one of the multi classes where you didn't really. I don't know. I feel like Kelnoran took that, but then it just didn't ever really fit into him eventually. Like he tried, but like you said, it was just he got to a point where he was like, I can't. Nope. Because early on, I think you had mentioned something about him like being very. There was a talk between him and the party, or maybe it was just him and Rowan, where he had a conversation about like, you know, I'm not really about killing, and it seems like all we're doing
That was for the party.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
was
I
at the
remember-
party.
is
Yeah.
is killing like everything we come across.
Yep.
It's a kill or be killed world.
Well, the interesting thing is, would he have been that way if he stuck with his addiction? Or would he have gone down the vengeance route, trying to fight the pain not only with alcohol, but also with killing?
He was more of a had a death wish. Like he was trying to kill himself, just incapable of doing the actual deed. It's
He wanted
why-
something else to do.
something else to do it.
Yeah, he doesn't heal himself except for like one time here recently.
Stands
No.
directly in front of the Catawepus.
I've been healing myself since Hillsfar.
He has,
Yeah, I mean he has been. He has been.
he has changed that.
Yeah, I mean I like his character growth. I think it's great, and I think the fact that you're stepping away, it fits the character perfectly. I really do. I really think it does fit him to say, okay, you know what? I put this behind me. I've grown. I'm ready to move on and begin this next chapter of establishing this grove and rebuilding. Right. I feel like it fits him naturally, and I it's great. I think it works well.
Here's a question for that, I guess, too. Is that, I mean, because at the, either before or at the party, I can't remember when it was, the Adventurers Gala,
Okay.
Shelby had mentioned that, you know, she was looking to do something, you know, to be more helpful. And she, you know, I know Kelnoran had talked to her about it. How much of her being willing to undertake some of that influenced his decision to walk away?
A lot. A lot did. It tied in with him trying to be more with his in connection with his druid self to kind of keep him away from alcohol before he picked up the habit of mushrooms on the way through Gormanther. That it gave him a chance to realize that he could at least find a way to preserve his people's memory through his teachings. That he could be a teacher, and there was someone who needed to find out that they could empower themselves and wanted to do good, and he saw a version of his path being a good option for her. And you kind of have to be really stationary to actually learn a trade.
Yeah.
So.
And then also we met Thea, and he was like, "Man, I could start a real family now."
Yeah, no. No.
Have a bunch of calves.
The only time her even had any thoughts like that was after we met Ilga, and he tried to like spruce himself up by brushing the small amount of dirt he could off of himself. Like, it's the only time he's ever even thought about even dating.
Oh, so
And
he's into
he-
Ilga.
He even let that just go.
I mean, for Kelnoran, anyhow, I mean, he's barely considered an adult by Furbolg standards, anyhow.
Yeah, he'd be in like the equivalent of his like mid-20s.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just two teenagers traveling the world.
How old is he? I don't
He's
know.
68.
Okay, so yeah, the
Yeah.
younger side for Will.
Oh yeah. He's barely like a tenth of the way through his life.
Yeah,
Natural life. Not even considering the druid aspect of everything.
yeah. Archdruid, 1 year for every 10 years you live. That's a 5,000 year lifespan.
Right. He's gonna be around for a while. But yeah, I always wondered. I kind of figured that Shelby's interest in becoming that, because, like I said, for her, on the backside, I've been just progressing all of this stuff with like NPCs and things to kind of keep everything. I don't know, to keep them on their own paths too, and just let your guys' actions impact the way that people responding. But yeah, I mean, she got to a point where she was decided that she just had to move past the whole Palin Warlock of Grotz thing and stop being a victim. Until I can't remember. I think it was Lilith again that brought up the.
Probably.
Yes.
If it was bad, then probably.
Lilith
At the
said
dinner.
something to her about it, and yeah.
Is it the dinner?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because you said something about Rith talking to Rebecca.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
Put
brought that up.
oversized halfling
Yeah.
foot right in her mouth.
That's what happened in Hillsfar. The halflings brought up stuff at the wrong time.
Yep. And then she was cautious of Rowan because his eyes had changed.
Yep.
I didn't know.
I know. 'Cause I think she told Kelnoran.
Mhm.
Yeah. It was like, Rowan's eyes changed. If you remember, he's like, oh yeah. Which I think is also when you tried to do a lesser restoration on him too.
I tried
Yeah.
all sorts of not really going to find answer ways to find out if he had changed.
Right. That was a very fun day. I remember that one.
Lilith tried to stir that one a little bit.
Yep, yep. But yeah, so you guys did the whole but then yeah, going back to Weymouth and the Comfort Inn annex. So obviously Weymouth,
Renault's
where
just a
everything
nice
started.
guy.
Yeah, where everything started in Weymouth. Lord Kiven, being a pretty good ally of the party, basically helped you guys establish your charter. So good memories
Mhm.
there.
Yeah.
Kaiju battle coming up.
It is one of them, at least.
It's the younger.
It is.
Yeah.
It's the naughty one.
just gotta make sure it's not gonna knock anything over. Yeah. Because cats can be assholes. It's just the way they are.
Jared resents that.
I said can be. I didn't say they always are.
Oh, okay.
You know, obviously Jared's one of the good ones. Obviously, Weymouth, like I said, good vibes for most of the party there, aside from Damien, who wasn't there at the beginning anyhow. But a couple of things that happened there, I guess, that were kind of influential. One, Lilith finding out about people asking about her, and being directed towards Weymouth by Mr. Stone. And then two, the House of Comfort having an annex there, being allowed to cast command to compel people to come in, but under direct orders to provide no further compulsion. Obviously, didn't sit well with Damien.
I honestly thought like it was going to be just a stupid little tit for tat thing where they were like, "Oh yeah, come see our titty." I'm like, "No, just go sleep with the pigs." Like I thought it was gonna be just a, "You're fucking with me, I'm gonna fuck with you. You'll wake up with the pigs tomorrow and try and figure out what the fuck's going on." And then that didn't work. And then I tried it again, and that didn't work. And I was just like, "All right, now this is a thing."
I rolled really well on both of those.
I'm sure you did, because it's not like my save's small.
Nope. It's a pretty good save. He just did well. So I guess you guys had the interaction with one of the other lords that was in charge of Weymouth. What did you guys walk away with? I guess feeling about the current climate in Weymouth with the House of Comfort being there. I mean, obviously Damien wants to burn it down.
I mean,
and he's cautious of anything dealing with the House of Comfort now.
Wait, something happened in Weymouth? I wasn't there.
Riff and I were there. You weren't.
Me and Kovacs were gone.
I think we met up in a bar and talked about it afterwards, didn't we?
Probably.
Yeah.
Because we were supposed to meet up in a bar, yeah.
Because, that's when he was just trying to do his job.
Renault.
She's way too comfortable with it.
I know. Like, I honestly thought, and I still do, think that there's lasting magical influence, which makes me even more scared of the Comforted, to be honest with you. If it would have just been a simple, oh yeah, no, they're fucking with
knowing
me.
What we know
5 minutes
now,
later.
About the House of Comfort from Shaper's Rest, she's more suspicious about it. But she doesn't hold it against Renault for doing what he's allowed to do. That's legal.
Yeah, but just because it's legal, don't make it right.
Honestly, the whole thing behind it, if it would have just been the exchange and everything along those lines, but you keep being like, it's the best place ever, is really fucking with Damien. Like, hold on a minute. How long does this influence last? Do I really need to be scared of this? Like, if they can influence her that long, like, oh my gosh.
It's like she's under a dais to just be cool about it.
Yeah. I'm like, wow, maybe this was a more powerful spell than I thought, and there's really something going on here that I should be scared of.
What's going to be fun is when I can actually talk about like what actually happened there. I can't yet because it's an unresolved storyline.
Yeah.
In looking at some of the abilities that certain things have, I was like, oh, this would be fun. So it'll be really fun when I can talk about actually what was going through my head. I think that actually at the end of this whole thing, I hope it's interesting and compelling, the storyline that was drawn up and the way that things were developing. And obviously, I mean, your guys' actions at almost in every single arc has changed the way that I had to approach things. I had an idea. I'm like, this is how the story's going to progress. This is what I want, and then, of course, I go into it like thinking, like, this is what I want, but at the same time, there are options for you guys to do, and then you do stuff, and I'm like, oh, okay,
That's
they obviously didn't take that plot hook, or they did something that thwarted a plan.
that's why we had a cattle bleepus thrown at us.
A little bit.
Do what I want, or you get a cattle bleepus.
I think that one was more of a reference of like you guys had the fight. You stuck around, and I don't think you either couldn't or you didn't. I don't think you could deal with the gate right away, because I don't think you had dispel magic at that point
Right.
for Kilnorn prepared.
Yeah,
Yeah, because
something didn't have prepared.
he was quite smashed when he was told he was going to need it, so
Yeah.
I didn't prepare it.
Yes, and so you guys had to stick around, and because of the Catoblepus being a Fey-related creature, it was drawn to the gate to basically protect. And so I rolled to just see if something would show up, because you guys stuck around an extra day, and I was like, oh, yep, something does. What's around their level? The Catoblepus looks kind of cool. Next thing I know, 2 party members are dead, and I'm like, did I just like throw my entire like? Because if Rowan decides not to come back, well, there goes that entire Phoebe storyline. And then if Kelnoran decides to not come back, I'm like, well, that kind of hurts my Damon Faye storyline. Well,
That's what happens when you play with Anything Can Happen Fridays.
yep. But no, it's going to be interesting when we get to the end of the campaign to just, I guess, talk about what my ideas were, what my plans were along the way, and but it has been very interesting to see how you guys have influenced that and changed things. But so like for Lilith though, Weymouth, people on her tail looking for her.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested to see where that goes. How she plays it off, and I guess at this point now I can kind of help with it.
Well,
But
you're kind of being brought in as a member of the charter now. So
A trial member, remember?
Yeah, at that point she realized that, I mean, she's been on the run for a while.
Yeah.
And that's when she realized, uh-oh. Now I've got other people with me that she feels responsible for. And so that's when she told the story. That's why she told the story. Because she was trying to keep them out of it, if she could, and stay out. But it didn't work, so.
Yeah, she's real worried about us wanting to put a big Lilith symbol on our back.
I know it's a huge circle with an L.
Yeah, we're Outlanders.
Raise your hand if you thought that stood for Outlanders.
It will be interesting. I'm interested to see that story arc, and what comes of some of that, right?
Yeah.
Like if because I look at it as if that gets resolved and the individuals chasing after Lilith are dealt with and she reunites with her son, like I don't see her continuing on. Like
She wouldn't have to.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess to the DM, then let's get that story arc underway.
That way we can have a new character.
Rick can get a more competent rogue in here.
And she could run her business like she wants to.
With the
And they have
teeth.
teeth all the way.
Creepy.
Yep.
She's got
There's
a new
a-
line of
there's a-
dentures coming out.
There's a story behind the teeth.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, probably
yeah,
a creepy
I'm
one.
very interested in that that story arc and where it'll come in and go.
Does the story behind the teeth go along the lines, and I killed them. I killed them all. I slaughtered them like animals. The children.
Well, yeah, that's how the story
Yeah.
started.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how the
Anakin-
teeth came into possession. So for Damien here, the
Oh yeah, no, I think it's blood magic origins. No,
yeah.
I don't now, but I did.
I know you haven't heard the story though. I mean you heard Risk's version, but the real story is that a band of goblins killed her family, and
Chris
she
told me something about goblins attacking your family.
yeah, that's where the bag of teeth came from. She took a tooth from every goblin she killed that went after that came to her village and slaughtered her family. So they actually mean something to her.
And
So
now she gives them out.
when Kelnoran leaves, you're bringing in a goblin, right?
That's the plan. I built a goblin.
Named Stubby. Nothing.
No,
He ain't got no teeth.
Yeah.
toothless. Name him toothless.
I'm looking for the person that slaughtered my family and took all their teeth.
That'd be funny.
Hey, Pat, I have a new character I need to make.
We'll talk about it. We can go over
Toothless the
that.
goblin.
A rogue, right?
I was killed by this halfling, and I really wasn't dead, but she pulled my teeth out.
Oh God, that would be amazing. It's too easy, but it would be amazing.
That's my new.
I mean, it would immediately end with one of them dying, but still.
I mean, it'd immediately end with the new character dying because everybody would,
Yeah.
you know, or
Yeah.
be behind the old character.
I mean, would they though?
Doesn't mean it wouldn't be a fun time.
I mean, I think if
I guess they could come in and say, Master Yogi had, sent me to kill you.
Yeah,
you were
but
taking
that-
too long
yeah,
to accomplish your mission.
Yeah.
that's gonna be a fight, and she knows she's gonna need the people closest to her to help with it. So that's where she's at, and that's why she shared the story. She didn't want to take off again. Now that she's found a family.
What's funny is, we haven't really revealed like your new character coming in yet, but
Right.
we won't until that point. But it was interesting when I designed everything for like Lilith, involving some of her backstory, and like put in some factions, and then you told me who your new character is going to be, and I was just like, oh, if he catches word of the factions, then this could be interesting because those groups don't get along at all. Your new character would be like, oh, you're going after them? I'm in. Yep. No, let's go get them. Like, you don't even know me. I don't need to. I just want to kill them. That's cool. I will smite them. And then I will use my sorcerer points to get more smites, to smite them more.
Yes.
Yep. And then I'll take a short rest so I can get my warlock spells back and smite them more.
That is
Yeah.
one thing that I'm with Rith. Like, you know, he went into the paladin side of things, and I know you and I have talked about it, but like, I'm purposely not doing certain things that the paladin allows for because it doesn't fit into Rith.
Like casting spells.
Yeah, like casting spells or using the I'm
That's
not
not something
using-
paladins do.
It's not. Smite is smite.
Yep, that's all he's gonna use it for is smite. So, but yeah,
People come up to Rith and be like, I hear that people of your type can heal wounds. Be like, no, I create wounds.
Be
I
gone,
heal
peasant.
some. I'm able to heal myself.
That's
I don't
right.
know that I don't know that Rith will ever use it outside of that
Right.
because like his mindset is he's channeling it inward,
Mhm.
not being able to channel it outward. So like the lay on hands, I don't know that he'll ever use it outside of that besides himself.
That's kind of like what I did with with Lilith's invisibility. She doesn't use it to do it. It's like an inherent thing that just happens to her when she's trying to hide. That's how I use it for her.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't something she learned to do. It was because it was because of the when we were in the Feywild. That's when she actually got the ability.
Yeah.
So that's
Which I think plays well for the characters, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
me too. You know,
Absolutely.
it's not like I want to kill all the undead. I just have to make a roll, and the DM tells me to kill all the undead.
Yep.
Or run away and then
Yeah.
come back and kill them.
And then come back and save
like
the day.
hero.
Like the hero.
Yeah. I see a common theme in your characters here between D&D and vampire. Always the heroes.
I'm the hero.
So I guess that brings us to the going after Ski Ball and heading north after figuring out that you guys had 3 different options, 3 different volcanoes that could have existed.
I honestly thought that the whole result of that was going to be a lot longer. Like, you know, we were
Our
gonna
princess
miss.
isn't in this castle.
Yeah, like I honestly thought it was going to be that like 2 or 3 times, especially after he teleported away the first time, and I was like, all right, now I'm gonna be right behind Riff every time, ready to cast counterspell on a teleport the moment I see him.
Mhm.
Like I was just ready for that.
I was waiting to fight an ancient red dragon. So
Well,
we accidentally went into his lair instead of Ski Rod.
Yeah,
when I was
honestly, I was really surprised we didn't hit that red dragon up.
Well,
when I was setting up the encounters, there was like a 5% chance that you would have seen it, like flying overhead, and then depending on what you guys did, would have determined whether or not you fought it.
Hey, down here.
Right. Yeah.
Honestly, that chimera thing was bad enough. That thing was wicked. It was a chimera, wasn't it? Or
Mhm.
was it? Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
Chimera.
It wasn't that bad.
I think we had 3 people go down, didn't we?
Yep.
yeah, I know I did.
I think you did
Yep.
twice.
Guys, I
Lilith
barely
went
took
down
any
twice.
damage.
Yeah.
Hey, I hid in a corner, which is what I do. But I still took damage from that damn thing.
I
Because
was
everything leading up to that was. Go ahead.
up in its face with my fellow Bash brother.
It's just when you guys kept almost getting hit by something, it was you guys managed to make it, and then you were taking half of half on the fire.
and I think it used cold as well.
Yeah, it did use cold one time.
And I also took
but
half of
then it
half on
started
that.
using, I think it started using acid. Eventually,
Yeah, those are all horrible.
they were.
Actually,
fire
fire's
wasn't
not
bad for
anything
you,
I don't-
but-
I don't mind fire. But
Fire when
they-
it can actually make a save,
Right?
is okay.
The cold was where you guys had where you and Kelnoran both got hit, I think, pretty
Mhm.
hard with that one.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm about to gain an immunity and another resistance.
I gained blind sight, and I need to figure out how I'm role playing that in.
Mine's from the armor.
Yeah, I got it. I have it too now.
I mean, really, you just kind of look at it, I think, as more of a sixth sense.
Yeah, and that's what I'm
But in
gonna.
game engines,
Yeah.
I think that's how the creators anticipated it. But
You'd always like dress in red, patrol the city at night, and
cover your eyes.
Yep.
Wield 2 sticks.
I mean, I have ways of how because I've been meditating, right? My character's been doing some meditation at night, and so I think I'm just gonna start incorporating that in where like I feel within a certain range, I kind of feel people passing by, kind of like, Bob said, a sixth sense.
And how did the whole sling dike thing go for you guys there? I guess.
Good, right?
great.
We ended
The-
up with
the-
the information.
The need to know
Eventually.
basis. That was the greatest line ever to the guards. Like, well, it's kind of on a need to know basis. Like,
Yeah.
well, you're kind of a Cormire. Feel like we need to know this. I enjoy sometimes the fact that we have 2 charisma-based characters.
I know. I
Neither
still do
one of
love-
them like dealing with people or are
No.
very good at it. They're just like,
No.
you have charisma though. Yeah, that doesn't mean I'm actually like good
Yeah.
dealing.
You spend 2 years with Kelnorn and see how you turn out.
Well, get locked in a basement for being a tiefling and see how you turn out right for Damien, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, it's not
No, I
our
mean-
fault. I'm also young and stupid.
Well, and you thought you were responsible for your sister's death too, so
That's
you know,
true.
There's
There's
a little bit
that.
of that. But yeah, Sling Dike went fun, and then there was whole Shaper's Rest instance.
Yeah, I'm still kind of iffy on all of the Shaper's Rest. I don't think we're quite done with it either. Because I don't know, are you going to let everything go before you leave and just have us take care of it up there? That's what I'm kind of trying to figure out here. Because you feel responsible for
Oh, Cal
digging
Norris
up bones.
never leaving the actual party. It's just gonna be one thing after another after
You
another.
know, it is.
And another. And
And
another.
another one.
Another one.
You
Another.
guys got that stuff.
Another one.
Oh yeah, no, I fully think that the party could take care of it. I just don't know if your guilt will allow you to let the party take care of it.
He knows how the party will end up taking care of it if they have to.
I guess it depends on how you guys come back from like your first mission without him to find out like someone got super hurt or however that might go. Because I did leave it entirely possible for Kerr to be talked into staying, as well as having people be able to encourage his leaving. And like he said in the last episode, like he's got time. He's got centuries to be able to follow the route he takes, and every little adventure is a sidestep, even if he hates doing it.
Well, Rit's not gonna be one that talks you out of it
Right.
at all. Like,
Yeah, I don't feel like it's my place at all either.
Neither will Lilith. She'll tell you to do what you want.
I think it would have been Rowan if he really.
Yeah, the only one that I think would really fight you on it is Rowan. And he seems to be going with
he's-
you, so
Yeah.
Well, like you said for Rowan, I mean, he's like Kelnor's been doing what I've wanted to do for like the past 2 years.
Yeah. No, he
So-
justified it well. Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. So
It's just a situation I think where everyone has played their characters perfectly as they should.
Yeah.
Because Kovac isn't going to say anything affirmative or
Yeah.
Yeah, you
derogatory
could have
towards
just
either one.
you could have just stopped after anything.
Say anything.
He's not gonna say
Yeah.
anything.
He might say, "Oh, okay, good luck." You know, he might say something like that. But yeah, I know the Shaper's Rest thing was a very interesting situation for you guys coming up.
I just felt like you were throwing us plot hooks like the whole time, and we're just like, but Ski Rod. Like, here, no, go down this path. No, there's something bad here that you guys need to take care of. And we're like, how bad could it be? And I'm just
No
like, guys,
service.
it's bad. Something bad is happening. Eh.
I don't know. I mean, I know Ritz was singularly driven towards Ski Rod.
I
so,
mean,
yeah.
I go back and forth on if Damien would even really care about the people in the town. Like,
Yeah, I mean, it's not directly affecting Ritz, so he's like, no, I don't care, I guess.
That's
to
a
some
question, I
degree.
guess, for Damien. Is like, but given his childhood or his history, how would he feel about people being subjugated
someone being trapped and
without their
I mean-
knowledge, even? You know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't feel great about it, but also it doesn't seem like they're being hurt.
Right.
So it's kind of a
The greater and lesser evil type of situation.
yeah,
Which
and
one?
it's not as if I am opposed to the use of mind control and mind alterations, but it's just kind of I don't know.
You did threaten to
don't-
burn down an inn, so
Well, that just kind of happened because we got into a fight and it kind of escalated. Like, he was now on my equal level of being able to use mind control and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh, wait, now there's a challenge here. It's not just, oh, I'm better than you, go away. It's, oh, you're equal to me.
That's not
And now I have to fight you.
right. Oh man, now we know what Damien's thing is.
I mean,
yeah.
I mean,
there
Ro-
was just another layer on top of it. I
Re-
mean, you do bring up an interesting point, Bob, that, yeah, if my background is escaping, basically captivity, do I feel like these people are being held captive?
Because you don't really know until you find out more.
Yeah,
information, right?
I don't know for sure. I know they're being influenced. I don't know if they're being held captive.
Right.
I think I would feel a little bit differently if I knew they were being held captive.
I think Rowan hates all townspeople. Just ask Bossbeer.
Yeah.
Yeah, they gave us our reward and we were leaving, and I turned around and gave my part of it back to them.
Yep.
And said, "Here, rebuild your town, make it stronger," or whatever,
Yep. Yeah, that did happen.
They'll come back. They'll have giant ballistas. They will have taken down a dragon. It'll be amazing.
I hope so. I hope so.
A statue erected in Rowan's honor.
Okay, we don't need to go that far. That's a bit much,
Maybe just a plaque.
Yeah, just something.
Like something on the
on a-
side of
on a
the inn.
bench.
Maybe.
Rename the city or something. I don't know.
Maybe if they name the stage after you.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Rowan's Roost.
I'm not a
The boy who
bird.
could.
So I guess so that leads us into. I mean, obviously we had the whole trip through the mountains. We kind of covered some of that with the Chimera and the dire troll, which seemed like it was a very interesting solution to a dangerous problem.
Yeah.
Transformed it into a snail. Bye.
I think I think had
The
that not
physics on
happened,
that
we would have been in
kind of
trouble.
up in the air
I
for me, to
think.
be honest with you, literally up in the air. I'm like, yeah, no, if you dropped a snail, it would hit terminal velocity at like 10 feet and maybe not even take damage because it just get caught in the wind. It doesn't weigh enough.
Well, that's why I had it go so far away. And
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, it has 1 hit point.
Yeah.
Even if it
It
takes
hits a branch
1d6
on the
of
way
damage,
down. It's done.
yeah, it
Well-
takes 1d6 of damage.
Yeah, no, it's done. But
Yeah.
also,
It-
like,
I think it would be
snails aren't uncommon to fall from trees.
true.
And they survive landing on leaves and stuff in the ground. So I was just kind of like,
It was in the
I don't even
desert,
know if it
though.
changed back.
Well,
like, did it? Did
Eventually,
it not?
does
Well, yeah, eventually.
after
it
an
does.
hour.
Yeah.
Suddenly we find out that our the big town, what is it?
I'm murdered by it. Oh, that's great.
Oh, Shaper's Rest.
We come back in Shaper's Shaper's
We
Rest
laid it
was-
all
was
out for them.
destroyed
After
by a
you killed
troll.
You killed their guardians.
Oh, that would be perfect. Although, to be perfectly honest with you, those skeletons probably couldn't have taken on that troll anyways.
They were decently strong. It's just I think you guys hit them. That Rith hit them pretty hard.
I hit him pretty hard.
And,
I'll tell you what, I came out of that cellar, came around the corner, and I'm like, oh my gosh, we've got these skeletons that are giving us everything that we can kind of do, and we'll be all right. And then the townspeople were coming in. I'm like, oh, we're fucked.
Wait, you
And then I
guys-
realized, oh wait, they're just townspeople. They're hitting us with kitchen knives, and we're okay.
You guys forget Lilith was helpful in that fight.
She was. She did come out and like start shooting right away.
Yep. And didn't hide everywhere
Yeah.
because I was
Is she
Lilith.
asleep?
It's like, guys,
No,
I'm
I
gonna
will
do something different. I'm gonna run out in the open and shoot these things.
I mean, that whole outcome with Shaper's Rest, hadn't you guys engaged the townsfolk and killed any of them, could have been a very different outcome when you came back to Arabelle.
Oh,
Because, I mean, for all intents and purposes, came in, destroyed their property, destroyed their guardians, and then murdered townsfolk unprovoked because they tried to defend their town and you killed them.
just so you know, we would not leave survivors.
Kelnoran would go back to drinking.
Witnesses.
Yeah.
He might have just been like, guys, see ya. At that
Go
point,
ahead and retire now.
Nope. I can't decide if skee ball's worse or you're worse. We just killed a town.
We got a new base.
And we got food for like a year now. We're good. Someone did all this farming for us.
I'm the captain now.
But so you guys ended up with going into Ski Rod's lair. So obviously tracked down the volcano and everything.
With a perfectly executed plan,
Yeah.
might I add.
Somehow the infiltration plan actually worked.
Oh my
It
gosh, we were
was
down in that
supposed
cave
to.
and we dropped those characters.
Well, no, I'm talking about like it's just
Oh.
even you guys had
The entry was ridiculous
The
because
entry
we
was, like,
planned
talked
for like
about.
an entire session, and then we did the exact opposite of what we planned.
Yep.
The exact opposite.
Yeah, there were like 2 or 3 plans that were thrown out, and then everybody was like, "Well, we're gonna take little bits and pieces of all of them."
Because nobody made an actual plan, so like, or said let's do this specifically, and Rith was like, okay, I guess we're
gonna
doing
go this
something.
way."
I'm gonna just go this way. Fuck it.
I think Kelnorm was like, well, "I thought we were doing this plan."
Yep.
Oh, well, okay.
It's funny because that was the most ridiculous session I think I've ever been a part of, and it worked out beautifully.
It does.
It reminded me of like the meme video I saw of like how people think D&D is, and it shows like a a giant like choreographed fight, like cinematic from like a video game of like Valor or something like that, and then it's like how people think D&D is, and then it says how D&D really is, and then it cuts to Holy Grail of the horses clamping around, the Frenchman, I fart in your general direction, the quest giver being like, what's your favorite color? Green. Okay, go on, man.
No, wait, blue.
You know, you're like, what is D&D? Oh, D&D, it must be really serious. You guys have cool fights. I mean, we do have cool fights. It's not serious at all.
Well, honestly, the riding the spider, going up the side of the tower, Lilith almost assassinating someone, me finishing them off, took out that entire side of the tower, and,
and the
in like
spider
one
did
round.
bite somebody too.
Yeah, that was it too.
Same guy.
And then I'm like, well, I hope the other side of the tower is going as well as we are. And you guys were like, I don't know, fumbling through the door, like couldn't get up
Oh,
there, couldn't do a bunch
spotted,
of shit.
like-
yeah, in
Rith
like
was
3
fine.
seconds.
Rith was fine. I think Kovac rolled horribly. I don't think Rowan rolled great.
Yeah, mine were
But Rith was-
mediocre, I think.
Yeah, Rith was fine. And so Rith was just like, you know what, screw it. I'm just going in. And just wandered on in,
Yep.
smacked a guy, and Rowan was like, oh, we're going. Okay. Just
Yep.
threw Eldritch blasts at guys. Then the other one was trying to leave, and
Yeah.
Rith chased it down.
Our side did much better. We got in, we killed the first guy, we were chasing the other two down, and you guys killed the one guy.
Without any evidence, made it in quietly.
It's
We're
true.
gonna
I mean,
sneak in, guys. We just got to kill these two guards in
He's
the
a lot
front.
Better at range.
Death.
you guys did the Assassin's Creed side on one, and the other one was more like Halo, just break in, kill everything. There's no one to mind if there's no one to mind.
Yep.
Exactly.
They can't tell on us if they're dead.
Dead men tell no tales. But that was awesomely executed. It was fantastic. Just there are time frames. My interface looks like this when the plan's going on. I'm just like, all right, and then it happens, and my interface goes.
That's how we
That's-
keep.
that's-
That's how we keep you on your toes. You think you know the plan. Mm-mm.
That's what we were thinking.
We don't even know the plan.
At the time,
I've given
we
up
were like,
believing that I know anything that's going on.
It didn't work out because we made the plan with Rith there.
Yeah.
This has happened a few different times.
Did it
and
work out?
It has actually. Like
Oh.
it hasn't gone the way you wanted it to,
Yeah, that's about every plan.
but things have kind of worked out, except for the Shaper's Rest. I guess that could have gone better. But yeah. So then you guys wandered downstairs into the first training room and proceed to just murder.
I love how we like literally had our conversation like, let's be stealthy, and then the next thing Rith does is, there's a guy, get him!
It's a room full of people.
And then Lilith is
I
like,
run in
hey, I got
charge.
the next one.
Bang. Like 2 crits or something like
I
that.
actually,
yeah.
thought I actually thought you had us when you hypnotics patterned us. I really
That was
did.
good. Honestly, I was like, oh, we got this fight easy. We killed 2 people in like 2 rounds, or 2 people in like 1 round. It was
One round.
great.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, the entire party is CC'd, and I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Let's be honest though, it kind of helped us out because we were hasted, and then we were frozen in
Oh,
the
yeah.
thing anyway. So like we lost the haste when we were frozen.
Right. The stun didn't affect you.
Therefore, yeah.
I mean,
I am surprised. I am surprised that you didn't have them like regroup on one person when they were, and then just hit that one person.
I think it was primarily just like the way that they would have had to like move around in order to get to things, because whenever I'm doing the combat, I do try to have them move in a way that's like natural. I mean, in most cases, if you're in combat and there's someone that's 5 feet away and someone that's 15 feet away, probably gonna work with one person and hit the person
Sure.
that's 5 feet away. So I mean, generally when I'm thinking about combat, I'm trying not to play as like the DM knowing what each character can do, unless like the only time it influences my decision making is like when Rith hits something really really hard.
Sure, because
And
then
someone
everybody
watches-
sees it, right?
Yeah, someone watches someone die and they're just like, either we avoid that guy or we try to kill that guy. Or, in instances where Lilith pops out and they watch her pop out and like a guy gets shot and just either drops or gets shot like in the neck or something like that. And they're like, oh, that's bad. Or spellcasters. Spellcasters are bad, which encompasses like half of the party right now. But so it's more of a situation of you're poison at that point, and at this point Damien becomes the bigger target with the stuff that he does, because
Can our entire party cast spells now?
yes, and I mean yes, but
Yes
like
and
you
no.
and Kovac are more like half or third casters. So, but Damien's a full caster, Kerr's a full caster, Rowan's a full caster.
Yeah.
So,
I find myself like I don't really have a good single target damage spell. So I'm like trying to figure out how to cast a good fireball all the time. Or just like, all right, I guess we'll try and see if this guy can take this small little damage and maybe not be able to attack next turn or move.
what is it?
And
The
I'm just
mind
like,
spike that you have?
yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good. That's been a good spell.
It's nice. I think it's nice, but it's not a damage spell. It's more of a control spell.
Yeah.
It's just about, hey, your head's throbbing so bad you can only do half of your action or half of your turn. Well, you only need to do half your turn if your enemy's standing right in front of you.
True.
Huh.
But it also limits people from taking reactions, which allows your entire party to reposition at will for the most part. So
it can be useful. It's not damage though. I did love a little bit later on we were fighting Skirod's minion. You blinded him, and then I mind flayed him, and then he basically was blind and couldn't move and couldn't take an action.
Yep.
And I'm
Yep.
just like, oh,
This poor
it's
guy.
a new level of stun.
Yeah.
That guy was going, come on.
This guy was having a bad day.
Yeah.
He get hit with an arrow, and then he was just all kinds of bad. But no, I think I changed a little bit of this. I changed a lot of this stuff on the fly. Because my original intention for some of that was actually for you guys to potentially like sneak in, or at least have someone sneak in, assess what was there, and then either try to find a way to maneuver your way in, where you would have fought the Hydra and then gone to fight Skirod, while trying to avoid the majority of the cultists, or look for a different entrance, because I did have spots where I was like, well, if you guys were searching around the mountain or something, maybe you would have found lava tubes that were cooled or, not active at that point, and you could have used them to try to find your way down and just either dropped right in on Skirod's area or a little bit further back into the compound. But I should have accounted for Rith just being like, you know what? Enemies in front of us.
Yeah.
We killed the enemies in front of us. And then it all happened. I was like, "Oh, that's what I should have planned for."
I don't know. Because there was the first fight getting in, There was the next fight downstairs. Then we were faced with a potential third fight. And I was just so primed to fireball them. And they were like talking to us and talking to Rith and
Mhm.
telling us, this way to Ski Rod. He's waiting for you.
And you're
I'm
like,
like, oh, I could. And then they're like, oh, okay, fight this Hydra. And I'm like, all right, you guys are just going to stand there and come back and murder us. Like, this isn't going to work. I'm so scared now. So, yeah, no, that scared me. And then on top of that, I felt it was really a Ski Rod thing to do, to be like, oh, yeah, no, I want you at your best. Take your time. I'll get you in a minute. And I was like, oh, wow, that's some confidence. Shit.
Well, and here's the thing: is that through the entire thing with Ski Rod, there was never a point where he indicated that he was not interested in fighting Rith at his full potential, if that's what it came down to.
Yeah.
Like, there was no point where he was scared of a fight.
So, did Ski Rod ever see Rith not being enlarged after his transformation? Because he teleported away real fast. So I was thinking, does Ski Rod think that he's always this large now?
Well,
I don't know.
he might have. I know at some point we did get scryed on.
Oh, that's true. Okay.
I don't know who did it, but.
And we never will.
But yeah, I mean, for the entire thing for Ski Rod, there was never a point where he said that, honorable combat wasn't his intention. Yes, is he a murderer? Sure, for people that he doesn't see as important, which was the group at large. But for all intents and purposes, I mean, at every given point, Rith was never his target
That's hurtful.
when he was in assassination squads.
Yeah.
So, yeah, him saying, "Go ahead and take your time. I'll be ready for you." It definitely was an ego trip for him too, because obviously he believes who he is.
He won't make that mistake again.
He won't.
He can't. There's always true resurrection. How much does his God love him? Not at all.
Do they at all? Yeah. But yeah, no, I mean, he was I created him with a number of flaws in his essence. So I was interested to see what happened with the amulet and the glaive, whether or not Rith tried to use them. But given his connection to his hammer or his maul, I pretty much know that any weapon I kind of throw towards Rith, he's just gonna be like, eh.
Yeah.
This is
I
my
mean,
weapon.
Yeah, and I mean, I designed the character for that purpose with it too, right? I wanted to make sure that I had a weapon that he valued heavily. Because I've had characters where it's like, oh, well, this weapon's better. I'm gonna just switch this. But this one, had significant meaning to him, and he's bettered it. He spent the money to better it. He's, so yeah. I mean, the only reason he would use the glaive at this point in time, if it wasn't tainted, if he didn't feel it was tainted, like, he would use it right now. Because he probably would have given his hammer away to get enhanced some more.
Mm-hmm.
And then he would need a backup weapon, and the glaive would be strong enough for him to determine to be used. But because it feels tainted to him, he's not going to attuned to
you
it.
rolled really well for that kind of stuff too. Like both of those insight checks that I had you do, I think you rolled like 17 or 18 on the die. It was like they were massive rolls. So I was like, okay, yeah, no, you feel it. Which is funny because it kind of rolls into the whole Rith concept of him just being a very intuitive and in touch with like the way he feels type of character. So. Right.
Well, I did enjoy your, I did enjoy the shut up and just die, with Ski Rod, and then, even after the battle, like, I enjoyed the first smite
Mm-hmm.
that Rith did, through his hammer and stuff. So I thought that was pretty fun and cool.
Yeah, it kind
That's
of
very fitting to get your first smite on the person that's basically.
Well, it
feeling
was after. It
the
was on
wrath.
It was on the
Like the altar or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, on the altar. Okay.
yeah
Yeah.
the dragon head that was there. Because I had you guys rest and you got your level up there.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
So, and like I said, it kind of felt thematically at the right point for that to
Yeah.
happen. The bird thing for Kelnoran was fun. So,
that was great.
Yeah.
it's like I'm getting Swarm Keeper, and I was like, oh, okay, then birds just keep coming.
You're gonna have all kinds of bird poop all over you now.
He is. He's gonna.
He's
it's gonna be-
Radagast.
Yeah.
Yep. Now you're never gonna get the ladies.
Well, if they're druids, they might be okay with it.
Yeah, sure.
I had toyed with it being bees, like that would become his swarm, but I was like, no, because Kerr would want to use the honey for things like
Like
making
mead.
I have been very impressed with your character on that aspect because I mean, Rith's hinted that he could take a drink, if he felt like he needed to. But I think for Rith, it's at some point in it, he's like he's fine with you taking a drink. It's if you go too far and you can't self control that Rith would have to step back in again.
right.
Yeah, like if you leave us abandoned on the side of a river without getting across just to go get a drink without us.
There are two instances. It's kind of why he's trying real hard not to take drinks. That one, and then Rowan getting away with the horse and going to Hillsfar.
Yeah.
Stoned out of his gourd, and that happened. So his addictions are causing problems.
Yeah, no, I love that. I love it. It's great.
But yeah, no, it's. I feel like the storyline. I mean, with everything that's happening now with the House of Comfort, things are definitely ramping up. You guys got the Daemon Fae, and I know you still have some. I still have some personal quests for people that I definitely still want to work in. Some of the things for Damien could be fun to explore if he is interested in doing so.
I was gonna say, well, my origin that I started writing for it was really focused on. I pulled it up a minute ago. See if I still have it up. No, I don't. It was based on like the next city-state over,
Mm-hmm.
and my family being one of the
Zembia.
lead merchant. Yeah.
Yeah.
And my family being one of the like lead merchant guilds, and my father making a pact with a demon fae to try and not demon fae, making a pact with a demon to get in charge because
Yeah.
both my parents are human, but I
Yeah.
ended up
You're a tiefling.
tiefling because of
So
it.
what had to be get dealt with a devil.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And I wanted to explore that a lot more, and I haven't really given we'll go with my true father a name yet. So
I don't think we've seen a lot.
you can
for-
explore that if you want.
Yeah.
Or his influence on me, because I went searching for a mentor to try and find my stuff, and that's how I came across Mono
Mm-hmm.
and was trying to figure out how all that fit in, and now I don't have a mentor anymore.
Yeah.
So maybe it's a good time for my dad to step in. I don't know. We can see where it goes.
Hey, that sounds like Titavillis from the home campaign with Dim. You remember that whole aspect, right? That was fun. That was
Yeah.
great. What were you gonna say there for Kelman?
Oh, I just said I don't think we've seen a whole lot for Kovac, like story wise.
He doesn't I mean, I have some ideas for him, and I mean his is. I've introduced a few things. It'll be dependent upon, I guess, whether or not he wants to pursue them. So occasionally he's just. I think Mike is just happy with Kovac is happy with just being a guide or being an observer for the most part.
Yeah.
So
He's like a watcher.
a bit. I do have, like I said, I have an idea for him that's been, the hook's been put out there a couple of times. I have one event that might further that, or kind of push him to do something. So we'll see. I'm just trying to determine the right time to introduce that, because it could be an interesting aspect. Yeah, now that I think about it, after Kelnorn and Rowan leave, it could be an interesting little thing that if decided I want to do something with those two, could be fun. So, because if the group's out doing stuff and something else happens around Arabelle that involves Outlander business, then there'll be two people still around that can do things.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'll
if
take
the
Shelby
next
with me.
BBEG kills both of them, what more motivation do we need?
Everybody needs a Coulson.
That's right. That's right. Well, who's to say Rowan's not the BBEG?
Tahiti.
Yeah.
I'm the BBEG.
The end
Alive.
battle is really just who do you side with? Do you side with Kelnorn versus Kelnorn or Rowan as they go against each other, brother versus brother? Because Rowan turns evil and Kelnorn can't allow him to fall into the dark side.
But he
Oh, we
also,
have a place to resolve that. It's called the Fighting Pit.
but he also can't fight me because he can't bring himself to hurt me.
Right. Right.
I'll hit you.
What the heck?
It depends who has the higher ground.
I have the high
Well,
ground.
I was gonna say, can anybody really have the higher ground than Kelnoran does at that point? I mean,
You're right.
I can misty step into a tree.
he could awaken it.
Oh,
Damn.
well, that'll probably make it taller.
Well, you can only misty step into the tree if someone doesn't like cast darkness around you or the tree or something like that.
So true.
No, I could still do it. I could see through the
Well,
darkness.
I guess that's true. That's true. That's true. All right. Well, that was a good talking session for this one, catching up on 2 years of recent events as two of our party members prepare to leave potentially.
Walk off into the sunset.
We
What
gotta
if
make
it's
it
a
through the
sunrise?
lower tower first,
Oh.
or lower cavern first.
Yeah, the haunted halls. Visit 3.
Kelnorn waits till everyone walks in and then just molds the door shut.
He's like, guys, I told you I would seal it, not let anything come out.
He's the BBEG.
And then close the door.
It's never been Kelnoran. It's always been the Damon Fay impersonating as Kelnoran,
We never know when the switch actually occurred.
right?
It's not too. It's
Been
not.
Rebecca this whole time.
It's not Kelnorn.
God.
It's the twins in a trench coat.
One sitting on top of the other's shoulders.
They might still not be tall enough. He's almost 8 feet tall, and they're like, 5.5, maybe 5'7". So
We get a booster seat.
that's okay. Well, I think we'll wrap up there. Thanks everybody for stopping by for the talk with the session. Hopefully in a couple of weeks we'll be back with a new episode of the Outlanders as we go back to the haunted halls. And well, maybe we'll see what happens. It could just be we might have to talk to some people first or get some research done. I mean, leaving town is always like a 2-episode deal. Just we rarely get to come back and just immediately leave again. So, but next vampire session should be coming up in 2 weeks. So stop in for that one as we figure out what the hell's going on there. Well, if you're watching over on the YouTubes, do all the things, hit all the buttons, you know the routine, and we will see you again. Thanks everybody for stopping by, and keep those dice warm. Good night.
See?
Bye.
Laters.